The Frontline starts now.
And we welcome you to another episode of the Frontline podcast as we're getting down to brass tacks here. It's Kortney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Harrison from the Garrison and Cassie Millen. Welcome back. Cassie, you're just looking like you're on the edge of your seat ready to say something. What's going on here?
No.
No?
Nothing.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Hey, in case you didn't realize it, because we talked about it last week, Cassie is back to being intern status. We talked about how she had moved up the ranks, Cassie, but no, you're back to being a co-op student.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Why are you so...
It was your request.
Yeah.
Well,
You weren't ready for the
Okay.
big leagues.
no, that's not true.
You got waived.
God. It's because
Hey, we talk about trades in this episode, so we might have to think about that one. The sound effects
Really,
are just
Ben?
coming hard
Really?
today. Hard today.
Oh, no.
It's because what?
well, I
Finish your sentence.
I
Come
was
on.
in like a criminology class, and then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not enjoying this. So I was just like, okay, I might as well just do co-op because I get half the day off. So I just took co-op again.
So what, you're slacker?
Not a slacker.
Instead of solving crimes, you're here with us.
So
Well, it was like
she's
a police course,
actually-
like a forensics. And
She's
like,
actually the criminal.
What
Was I not
that?
supposed was I not supposed to out you on the podcast?
no.
Sorry.
3 minutes in, self-incriminating. Great.
I'll go dig my own grave.
She know how to
Have
find
fun.
it.
Have fun?
Have fun.
Well, you're the one
Wait,
that's
what?
You're the one that's putting it.
You know how to find it if you stayed in that class.
Yeah.
They don't teach you that.
Well, then what's the point?
Yeah.
It's
I see why you quit.
forensics. It's cutting up bodies.
You should have taken that.
Nah,
are we
it
doing
wasn't
here?
fun.
Is because you already do your own field research on cutting up bodies?
Welcome to the Dexter cast.
No?
No,
No, you haven't done that yet?
no,
Yet?
not yet.
Not yet? It's coming, though.
Maybe.
Is that your exam?
cutting up bodies?
Yeah, if you say in criminology. I don't know. I
I
barely
actually don't know.
passed. I doubt it actually is.
Well, like it's not cutting up bodies, but like maybe like an
It's going to
animal.
teach you how to be a serial killer for serial killers. Have you ever watched Dexter?
basically. No.
Apparently has a really bad ending. I wouldn't know because Ben spoiled all the stuff for me.
It has a bad ending twice.
Apparently, yeah. Ben's just like so. Dexter's like one of Ben's favorite shows. Producer Ben.
I like a lot of Dexter. I tried to watch the new series, and that ending is still bad. Not as bad. It's still bad.
He's cooking up something down there. He's gonna get you. Watch out.
Okay.
So I was watching Dexter faithfully in college, and then somebody in class, Ben, ruined one of the deaths in season 2.
No, no.
I was like, okay, whatever. I can get past that one. And then immediately, when I was like, dude, I didn't know that happened. But in my head, I was like, it's not that. It's a big deal now, but it's so early that I don't care. Immediately after that, I was then spoiled of one of the biggest deaths in the show later on by a different college student of ours, a classmate of ours, that I was like, I can't do it now.
That sucks.
Yeah. So I've only ever watched the first season and a half of Dexter, but I know the biggest death in the show.
Okay. Well, at least you get out before it gets real weird.
Yeah.
Because there's some real weird stuff in the final seasons, but you do miss John Lithgow.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets spoiled is that one of the big deaths in that season.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it does suck because I've heard that that's the best season. Is what I've been
He's
told.
so good. He's so good in like everything.
Yeah,
but
he is. Speaking of people that were really good in things at one point in time, I always associate John Lithgow with like Joseph Gordon-Levitt because of Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like disappeared, man. You don't see Joseph Gordon-Levitt like very often anymore.
The last time I remember seeing Joseph Gordon-Levitt, it was, you know what? I forgot the last time I saw him. I thought I remembered him, but no, I was thinking of Elijah Wood. So
I forgot that he was a thing until somebody was talking about 50-50 at work the other day. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good movie. Like,
yeah. What's the last time? It would probably be Batman.
Yeah, The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Man, he's done some things out. But he's one of, have you ever, I'm sure you have, but I don't know if Cassie has because she probably hasn't. But have you ever watched 500 Days of Summer?
No.
No?
No. Never heard of it,
Have you ever watched 500 Days
So
of Summer?
that's one of those, like, I was a film student, and film students should definitely watch this movie, but I never actually ended up watching that movies.
It's so good. Like and it tells you right off the hop. This isn't spoiling anything because the movie tells you like within 5 seconds. It's like, this is not a love story.
Yeah.
And then you go into the movie and be like, it's totally a love story. And then you like about an hour and a half in, you're like, oh my God.
Love story? Taylor Swift? Super Bowl?
Oh, I see it. We're playing. Anyways, we'll talk about the Super Bowl later. But anyways, so 500 Days of Summer is definitely a really good movie. I would recommend both of you to watch it at some point. But that's his, like, I love Batman, but that's my favorite movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I love that movie. So, but I haven't watched it in like 10 years myself either because it's so sad. Like, it's just like, I can't do this. But he's also he writes cards. That's his job. So he writes like the inside of the cards. And like when he gets like really depressed, some of them are friggin' great. Like, so good. Anyways, that's besides the point. We have Josh Hardiman and Cameron Lemcke on this episode of the podcast. We're getting back some guests finally. They were like, oh, we let Harrison and Kortney and Cassie go on for way too long last week.
Yeah, we talked about SpongeBob. It was probably a good call to get somebody else into fill time.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, that was good. We like harmonized on that.
Yeah. I can't sing.
Hey, no, I like that Goofy Goober clip is still so good though.
Oh my gosh.
The amount of people at work today that came up to me was like, that's great. Like, you look so scared. And I'm like, no, Harrison's ears are bleeding. That's the worst part.
It hurts so much. Genuine pain. I'm not goofy nor goobering right now, Ben.
Oh, Goofy Goobers. The thing about that I think I've said this before, like last week, but I didn't know that was like based on like the Twisted Sister song. I wanna rock.
Yeah, I was too young to know at that point, like what a Twisted Sister was.
Have you watched the first SpongeBob movie?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And we're starting to sound like a Metallica concert here. Or Usher at the Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Okay, and that is the moment that we're going to cut to a quick break. We'll hear from Josh Hardiman and Cameron Lemcke on the other side of this.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
And we're pleased to be joined this episode of the Frontline podcast by Voodoos forward Cameron Lemcke and assistant coach Josh Hardiman. And guys, I got to be honest, there's a lot of pressure on you. This has been like almost a season in the making now because Chris like asked earlier in the year, and then he keeps putting it like, oh, these guys are going to be really good when you get it on. So pressure's on.
Yeah, no, we've definitely been feeling the pressure. I mean, somebody had to figure out their metro schedule first, and then once we could take a break from cutting meat, we were able to get in here and get an interview going.
There's no breaks from cutting meat. It's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
Meat comes first.
Yeah, you're going there right after this, aren't you, to go back to cutting meat? Like,
Yeah, probably a hard no on that.
No, it's time to go home and relax now.
yeah. Well, I don't know. You just said it's a 24/7 job. I don't think there's any
I've had
relaxing.
enough.
Guys, we're really happy to have have you, though. We're pretty excited. So I'll just get things rolling here. Cameron, how's the season going for you this year?
Well, I feel like season's going pretty great on everything that we're doing. A lot of wins, and I'm up there in points, so it's pretty good. I'm having a good season, and the team's having a good season, and that's all we can ask for.
Josh, I'll ask from behind the bench now. Now's your time to bury him. How do you think the season's going?
No, I won't throw him too much under the bench. The season's great. There's been some ups and downs. We've had some injuries. I'm sure you guys have talked about it or you know about it, but really it's been the back end this year that's really been depleted for us. I mean, at one point we were playing, I think, with 3 actual D, and this guy was actually part of my D corps for a couple of games. So you know it's getting scary when you get down to Lemcke as one of your options. But
well, it's one of your best options.
I don't know about that. But no, it's been good. I think it's been a great year because we're finally healthy. I think we're finally rolling as a team a couple weeks before playoffs, which is great. But just fighting through all that adversity early in the year, I think is always good, especially for a younger team. You know, we're lucky that we had a lot of returning guys, so they know kind of what the deal is and what to expect. But having sort of those young guys where they're thrown into it early, like guys like Dawson, Moose, Dubroy, where look at a guy like Dubroy, he had to play a bit of D as well because we were so in his first junior year, and he's just kind of taken the opportunity and ran with it. So I think it's been great on all aspects where I think we're right where we want to be. We're going the right way right before playoffs, and we're finally healthy. But I think all that adversity helped us and will help us in case we run into any in playoffs.
You touched on a lot of returnees, Josh, and what's that like for you and Pete as coaches to have that many guys want to come back? Because at this level with this team, usually there's a load of turnover year over year.
It's everything. I mean, he was one of them. There's him, Little, and Tucker were the sort of the big three that we really had no idea. And I bet you've asked all three of them at the beginning of last season, they would all three would say that was their last year in Powassan. All three ended up coming back, which for us is just, it's like having a fourth assistant coach. I mean, these guys know exactly the type of style we want to play, the type of culture that we want in the room. And I mean, I think last year, even though it wasn't the result we wanted, the culture and the locker room and the team was at a point that Pete and I wanted it to be, where we felt the guys were running the room. We thought everybody in the room had a voice and they were having fun. And to have those guys come back and all these returning comes back is just so easy because that culture is just set from day one, where you don't really need to work with any new guys or anything like that because all my vets and all my returning guys are going to be working with the new young guys.
And for you, Cameron, like you just said, you know, last year was your last year in Powassan. What brought you to want to come back to Powassan this year?
Obviously, the coaching staff, they were very good to me last year, and I said, why not? Let's go win a championship this year. So I decided to come back and talk to Alex and Tucker over the summer. They said they were coming back, so we were all in this year to win a championship.
That's pretty good. But you yourself, though, I was looking, you know, you've been around as an affiliate player for a while, you know, kind of thing, back in 2019-20. So you've had Max Gavin, Mark Lafleur, and now Peter Goulet and Josh Hardiman. What's that kind of like in your junior career to go through 3 different guys like that?
All great guys.
I should say.
All great guys. Nothing bad to say about any of them. All great guys.
I'm sure you can find one.
I'd hope not.
All the coaches, great guys. Love them. And they helped me develop lots.
That's good. There's a little laugh there. I kind of appreciate that one going on Hardo over here.
Yeah, I know. Well, usually I'm not used to too many positive comments from him over here.
No,
so, no.
What?
No,
I'm the nicest guy to you.
More in the chirping way, but
that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're getting it all on the record now.
Yeah. Oh,
look at that on the record. He's nice.
Yeah, no, I got that for the rest of my life now. I'll just keep playing that clip on repeat.
That's not fair. That's blackmail.
Maybe you should have said it. Kind of played yourself a little bit on that one, but
I did.
You know, now that it's kind of, it looks like, you know, Timmins has pulled away a little bit like they did last year. But you guys are once again in a dogfight with Hearst, you know, to figure out who's going to get home ice advantage. You guys have obviously the recent history on your side in the playoffs against them. Josh, what's it kind of like knowing that it's pretty much set you're going to face Hearst again, kind of like last year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we wanted to finish first. That was always our goal, to win a division and get home ice. But at the end of the day, I kind of like the fact that it's not set in stone, but we basically know exactly where we're playing, so the preparation can start now, sort of mentally and physically. Having that history where we did just recently play them last year, you know, I think it's always good for playoff series. There would be a little more intensity, a little better rivals. You know, they got guys on their team from last year, we got guys on our team from last year, so both teams aren't going to forget what happened last year. So just a little carried extra motivation, I'm sure, for them on their side. And we know that coming in, that they're going to be hungry because they're not happy with how they finished last year, and we were the ones who knocked them out. So they'll be gunning for us. So we got to be be prepared for that.
Cameron, how big was it to beat them in game 6? I mean, you'd been a part of the team the year prior that had lost to them. So
Yeah, that lost in the first round in them. Yeah.
yeah, how important was that to get the win in game 6 against them?
It was pretty special. I always like winning, and to beat a team like Hearst, the team that they put together last year, was a pretty good team. So to beat them, it felt phenomenal.
Do you think it would feel if you guys match up with Timmins after how things went in the playoffs last year? I know Ryan Patrick was on here talking about how motivated he was looking at the Rock jersey all off season thanks to McElhaney, but how do you think that would feel if I know you guys don't want to put the cart too far ahead, but if you guys matched up against Timmins and you take them down, how special do you think that would feel?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been the goal, I guess, from day one. It's kind of been
the goal
back
whole season.
Yeah,
basically.
just get back to where we were last year and just change our fate. You know, it didn't end the way we wanted to last year. That Timmins team was an unbelievable team. We hit injury bug at the wrong time, and it just kind of didn't go our way. But I think it's kind of been something we've been working for all season, is just get back to where we were, and now let's just see what happens. You know, we got sort of unfinished business that we'd like to get back there, and yeah, we're pumped for this playoff run.
Yeah, he's 100% right on that one.
Look, he's complimenting you
Thanks,
a little
buddy.
bit more.
I appreciate that. You're making me feel good in here.
This is the room of good emotions.
Yeah, we gotta come do interviews more often.
Josh, on a coaching side of things, I got to ask. I know you're not necessarily a goaltending coach, but it's very rare you see teams rock 4 goaltenders.
I believe never would be the word instead of rare.
How challenging is that?
Yeah, it's extremely challenging. You know, it's obviously there's been circumstances this year where there's been injuries and other things, and we just felt the need to keep bringing these good goalies in, just have that depth and have sort of that security blanket in playoffs. You know, whether it's injury, guy's game just goes away, whatever it is, we have sort of that security with D-Rock and Patrick, who are 2 excellent, I think, starting goalies in this league and can start for any team. And then, you know, having guys like Wilcox and Gordon around at practice, I mean, their spirit and the way they carry themselves, it's very uplifting and positive. You know, Gordo, I don't think the kid's ever not smiled. You know, I don't know how his cheeks don't hurt.
Yeah.
Because he's always just the happiest guy walking around. I mean, they bring such a good energy after practice. They're playing games with the guys. They're messing around. So it's, as much as it is a little ridiculous having 4 goalies, I would say each guy is just as important as the other when it comes to the team and has just as an important place on this team.
Yeah, it's funny, actually. I was on the website the other day and I was looking at all the stats and brought up Gordo's picture, and I was like, this is the only time I've seen him not smile.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think I've ever
a cheerful guy.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time, cheerful.
It's kind of weird if he's not smiling. So
Yeah. Cameron, in practice and stuff, what's that like to have to shoot against all these guys that, you know, they want playing time, so they're going to be very competitive, I would imagine, in practice.
Yeah, to switch between goalies every session, every shot you're facing a different goalie. It's kind of a pain because once you get one figured out, another one comes in, you have to figure out that goalie, and it's just a whole pain.
So I don't know if you got much figured out there. Yeah. Not really a practice guy, but
no, game time when the points are on the line. Right?
Well, I always tell him as long as he scores and keeps producing the game, we're good. But you should see some of the practice shots that this guy takes on the goalies because it is outrageous.
Okay, how bad is it? Like,
I mean,
now's your chance.
You want some of this right now?
I mean, I'm not lying when I say you look like a beer leaguer sometimes, because he'll just come in, won't bend any of his knees, and just flick his wrist at the net to get it over with. So Lemmer's he's a gamer. I'll say that. He's always ready for the game time, but practice is not his strong suit.
That is so uncalled for.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
What makes you say that he's wrong? Let's get a rebuttal here. What's
the best practice player there is. I'm always scoring, always hitting the net.
I don't know.
Always first in line.
I don't know if we want to talk about it in the net right now.
Always hitting the net.
I don't know if we want to talk about that right now.
I never said that. No, we're not going there. Yeah. We're not going there right now.
Okay, so in that type of thing, if we're going to go with Josh's assessment and say you're more of a gamer than a practice player, what's the mindset going into a game? How do you get up for a game? You know, like, do you have any superstitions or anything? Or
I'm not really a superstitious guy, but there's one part of my superstition that I always have to be hanging out with Hardo pre-game before the game. and we just
Yeah, I was about to say, so he's not superstitious, except he just follows me around for 30 minutes and I can't go anywhere.
well, I wouldn't say follow around. We usually sit and stay seated.
Yeah,
somewhere.
but if I get up to take any step in any direction,
You're
I'm
not
getting
going
yelled at
anywhere. You're
right
not
away
going
for
anywhere.
leaving him. So
you can't leave.
Yeah,
It's part of the routine.
I was gonna say in French River, you guys are pretty glued at the hip before the game.
yeah, it's become over the last year and a half become a routine. So just usually hang out. He stretches. We'll just crack a couple jokes, talk about basically anything other than hockey, and then we end up just going.
Once the puck drops, we're all serious after that.
It's nice though. Honestly, in all honesty, it is a good way of kind of decompressing for games, not taking things too serious. Because I mean, as I've played as well, and sometimes you can get tense, but as a coach too, you know, you're just thinking through every scenario before a game and thinking worst case. So sometimes having a couple jokes with my buddy Lemcke is all I need before a game.
So in that kind of realm of things, once the game starts for you and he's playing on D for you, the best defenseman you've had this year apparently. How do you, if he misses an assignment or something, how do you kind of crack that down on the bench?
I think
there is no missing assignments.
that's the thing. If you ask him, there's never any cracking down. There's never mistakes. But I think we have a very good relationship, and it's happened once or twice this year where I haven't been too happy with him, and he knows it. And I think that's the best thing with us is just we can get at each other, we can be upset with each other, and then 5 seconds later I could be hugging him because he knows at the end of the day the reason he came back is to win a championship. The reason I'm here is to win a championship. The reason everyone here in the Powassan organization is to win a championship. So we're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have our fun. We're going to laugh. But at the end of the day, it's all love. And I think he knows that and he respects that, even though we do sometimes have some disagreements.
Very little disagreements, but still disagreements at some points.
So best damn defenseman, best damn practice player on the team. I love this.
Yeah, confidence is never lacking with Cameron Lemcke. I can tell you that.
I feel like you got it. Like once you hit 100 points, so you're allowed to have that, right? So
that guy's a Noj veteran, so he can kind of do what he wants right now.
In the locker room, I'm somewhat as a super vet.
Super vet? Is that what they call you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he calls himself in the mirror. I don't know if the rest of the team's calling him that.
That's how he gets up every morning. You're a super vet.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
It's funny because when Patty was on here, he was talking about Tomer being, he's quite the vet in the league. He's got a couple. He didn't say anything about you though.
Wow,
that is.
We're gonna have to have a chat with Patty after this.
To be fair, he was talking about jersey numbers and how he wanted 18 from him, but
might be talking about teams too. Tomer, a little bit of suitcase at this point. I'm joking, Tomer.
I'm a stay in one place kind of guy.
Yeah. Stay at home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Tomer had to go spread his wings somewhere and realize that the grass isn't always greener first. Which I think he will readily tell you. So.
Yeah.
Josh, I got to ask too about your Team Canada East stuff. Let's talk about that. How was that whole experience for you?
It was amazing. It was professionally, hockey-wise, the best experience of my life. I mean, that level, like our first game, after the game, I'm walking on the rink and it's Stevie Yzerman, it's all these, and Jim Montgomery. I mean, it's just being in the arena and being like, these guys are just watching the game and that I was coaching is pretty surreal. And just the talent, I mean, I'm working with the best players in Canada and the best coaches in Canada. And I mean, just, it was everything you could dream as a coach because it was all the positives of the job and it's none of the negatives. If I can be quite frank, it was just hockey. There was no extra sort of managerial side of it. There's no trading or cutting players. It was kind of nice because we picked a team and then we had a team for a month that we knew wasn't going to change. We knew nothing, no trades, no suspensions, none of that kind of BS could creep in. So it was nice being able to build that culture in a team and get in that bond. I mean, we're trying to create history, be the first Team Canada East to win gold. It's never been done before. I think we had the best record Team Canada East has ever had at that tournament, which was special, but ultimately, unfortunately, we didn't get the job done, but it was the experience itself. It was my first time, too, on the East Coast, which is pretty special as well. So maybe not the best time here to visit, but it was overall the tournament. I mean, Hockey Canada as a host, the players, the staff, everyone that I met, it was all top notch, and it was an experience that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.
What was it like having Pete there with you, too?
Yeah, that's the thing. It makes it extra special. I mean, Pete's a guy. When I was playing hockey, he was my general manager. So he's the one who initially recruited me when I was 16 to come play junior hockey. So me and him have been tied at the hips for 12 years now. I mean, he was my first GM. He brought me into junior A hockey. And then when I was done playing, I started looking into getting video coaching and stats. He was the guy, he hired me right away. So he's kind of been along the steps for my whole hockey career, whether it's been playing or coaching. So being able to share that sort of first international experience with Pete was a little extra special, having sort of my mentor there, which was nice.
Did you rib him at all when he? I don't know. There was some head shaking over there. So
That's one thing you forgot to get me while he was gone.
Oh my God.
What's that one thing?
Someone was a little upset that I left.
I was a little upset. I didn't get any merch. I was just feeling left out.
Yeah, they didn't have your size. Sorry. Yeah, the first thing I get back and I got Lemcke yelling at me. I think it was a Tuesday at like 7 a.m. being like, "Nice of you to show up." Like I hadn't been doing anything, just taking a vacation for last month. So it was nice to get it from the boys when I got back. And obviously, I mean, I've never been away from them for that long. It was actually ended up being close to a month because it was the tournament and then it ran right into our Christmas break. So it actually was a little bit of separation anxiety, I would say. I did miss the boys, so it was nice getting back and getting right back into things with them.
Fair enough. That's good. Cameron, though, I mean, to look at it now that you're, anything that could possibly happen movement wise is done right in the league. So you are going to end. You have started your junior career with the Powassan Voodoos. You're going to end it with the Powassan Voodoos. How special is that?
It's a very special feeling. I have nothing but great things to say about the people I played with and the organization. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And I love Powassan, and it'll always be a part of me.
Is it special ending it with this guy behind the bench, or is
Of
it
course
kind of
it
the worst
is.
thing in the world?
Of course. It's the best thing to end it with Hardo.
Yeah, no, it's this whole group. I mean, this whole 20-year-old group, him, Little, Lemcke, Tucker, all those guys. It's going to be a special run and special way to end their junior career together. I'm excited. So,
Well, playoff hockey is the best kind of hockey. So
Yes, it is.
yeah, no, it is, and we're going to be ready for it. So,
how do you guys? It's kind of like the dog days of the hockey season now, where it's again we talk about it's not set in stone, but it's looking like hers. How do you guys keep that up to be motivated? At this point of years where that you're already got the X next to your name, it's going. Like I'll start with you, Josh. But how do you guys keep it up to get the guys going?
yeah, I would say from a coaching perspective, it's more focusing on us. It's sort of less tailored. We do tons of video and we'll do pre-scout stuff. So now it's less focusing on opponents because, I mean, we're not going to spend too much time focusing on an Espanola, Sudbury, or Blind River because we might only see them in the finals. So we've got about a month and a half to wait for that. So it's really just doing sort of self-analysis and self-video and just sort of correcting the mistakes that we can control. And I think that's the biggest thing where it's like you said, dog days. It's not like there's no motivation. Obviously, you want to win every hockey game, but like you did said, the playoffs are kind of set in stone. I mean, we're still trying to get second place in home ice, but I would say it's more just, focus on the stuff that we can control and that we can make better ourselves and that no one else can, because as long as we take care of ourselves, everything else will be good.
And for you, Cameron?
So get down all our plays, have them down pat, so we're not running around and doing all that. So we know exactly what we're doing and when we're doing it and how we're doing it. And to always have that picture of that moose in your head and you want to get by that moose.
Yeah, you're gonna know all our plays. We're gonna know where F3 goes on the blue line.
I know where it goes.
That's one of our more famous encounters. I forget who we were playing last year, but as you know, Pete, sometimes we run a little trap where we'll have sort of that third forward all the way back with our team.
Yeah.
Blue line. And so it'd only been about 6 months of a season that we'd been doing that and running that. So when Lemcke goes out and doesn't know where the F3 goes and hangs out on the board for a shift, I was pretty upset at him this one time last year. So that's another one of our big blow-ups that we've had.
That was just a little hiccup.
That was just a little hiccup. But
a little hiccup.
I was quite upset with a guy who after 5.5 months of doing the same thing doesn't know what it is. But
I was coming back from injury. Everything was fresh.
Oh, the good old leg.
So where did the moose come from? Like, how did you guys settle on a moose?
Well, have you been to the Hearst rink?
No, I haven't.
So they have right above the penalty box a giant moose.
Oh,
like
okay.
a massive.
That is the most northern Ontario thing you could have.
So they have a massive moose head that every time they score, the eyes light up and smoke comes out of its nostrils.
Yeah.
So over the last 2 years, we haven't really taken a liking to that moose.
No.
So it's pretty much every time it's a little ongoing joke. We go on a Hearst. It's just, hey, we're going after that moose tonight, boys.
We're
bringing that moose home.
We're bringing it back home. We're strapping it to the bus and we're bringing it back home with us.
So that's kind of been the ongoing joke with the team.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never heard of. It's funny, of all the people that have been like, Oh yeah, Hearst is one of the best places to play. Like usually guys will say that, but I've never mentioned a moose.
God, I hate that moose so much. Every time they score, and that thing just goes crazy. So we're not a fan of that moose.
It's kind of like I've heard stories of people trying to steal the wolf out of Sudbury.
Yeah, this thing. I think it's actually like 20 by 20 feet. Like it's massive.
Huge.
So I don't know actually how anybody would be able to get it, but it'll be pretty.
It would
cool.
take some doing, but I'm sure we could do it.
Yeah, strap her to the top of the bus.
Yeah.
You know what? At that point, if I was like anyone related to Hearst and you guys got it away, I'd be like, you know what? That's more impressive that you got it at that point.
Honestly, if anybody could pull that off, it would be pretty unbelievable.
That's pretty wild. I'm gonna have to make my way up to Hearst. So that kind of beckons my next question. We always end up asking the guys this. For you, your favorite and least favorite place to coach, and for you, your favorite and least favorite place to play so far in the NOJHL.
I mean, I base it strictly off temperature usually. So like French River for me, like a February in French River is so tough.
Yeah, he's right. I'm going with him on that one.
It's
French
the
River.
cold. It's just I don't know what it is. It's like I don't know if there's a hole behind our bench, but it almost feels like there's a wind, like a cold wind in the rink, and it's
all the time.
I don't understand. Like it's literally nothing against the rink, the atmosphere. It's strictly the temperature. Yeah. I can't stand it.
Really?
Yeah, it's so bad. Coolest place to play? That's a tough one. I mean, Hearst and Timmins, it's just the rivalry. It's sort of the same thing when they come to us, just sort of that feeling in the barn, I would say. So I think it's more just based off that. I mean, every time it's rocking in there and they don't really like us, and I kind of like being the villain. So I think I'd say one of those two rinks for sure.
Yeah, atmosphere-wise, Hearst and Timmins for sure, but the best rink, in my opinion, has got to be the Cochrane rink with the heated floors. Because I'm not a big shoe guy at the rink, so I like that.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they got great hot dogs there too.
Well, if we're gonna throw food into it, French River's pretty darn good.
That's the thing. It's like I actually do enjoy French River if there was heat. Like honestly, if they just had a heater behind the bench or something, it would be unbelievable. But
well, how do you survive Powassan, man? That's a cold rink too.
I think I just get used to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like some days it's colder than others. I mean, we practice in the morning, so sometimes the toes are frozen for a couple hours. But the cold is just that's what gets to me. I just can't do it.
No. When I used to do public address all the time, my feet would be frozen by the end of the game.
Yeah, well, the little heater that you guys have in the penalty box thing. Like at the end of practices now, we'll do like if we do battle drills or a little overtime game, I'll go sit in the penalty box now and turn the heater on because it gets way too cold in the morning. I can't deal with it.
That's amazing. It's like the prima donna of the NOJHL right here.
It's just so soft. So soft all the time.
It's the toes, man. I can't deal with the frozen toes.
No, I can relate though. I can relate on that one. That's funny. When you talk about Cochrane though, like that's kind of. That's one of the few rinks that I've been to is the Tim Hortons Event Center or whatever. That's a pretty nice rink. I think they'll have another team because it's just such a nice arena.
It's such a nice facility.
Used.
Yeah, no, and I mean they used to get great, like because I knew Ryan Leonard and he used to run the program out there, and they used to get great fans, great support. So I'm hoping a team gets back there because as a coach, I mean I played there actually once in a preseason tournament. Now that I think of it. And but I mean these guys, every single guy I talked to, they loved it there. Like even though it is kind of far and all that up there, but the rink itself, it's really nice to play in.
Yeah, heated floors is like next level.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. But it's actually just such a nice like rink. Actually, like just everything about it's pretty new. So
well, when so the first time I went, they were in the finals against Rayside Balfour back in the day. So Ryan Leonard was running the team, and it was electric in there. The the atmosphere was great. They had like the little TVs that show the replay of the goal from the GoPro in the corner. And they had this like bear that like looked like it was on some kind of drug or something that they skated out through.
Yeah, they used to have the big inflatable thing and just looked nothing like a bear. It was the weirdest thing ever. Because I remember I played with the Kingston Voyageurs, and Pete was obviously friends with Ryan Leonard, so we'd go up there to play like a preseason OJ and OJHL sort of preseason tournament. And they would always skate out of that bear, and I was like, "That's not a bear. Like, I don't know what that is, but that is not a polar bear."
As you said this live on one of the Voodoos broadcasts last year, but I showed Andrew White, who was doing color commentary with me last year. I showed him a picture of the bear, and he's like, "That looks as if someone just gave it to like an unhinged kid and said draw a bear." Like,
honestly, yeah,
its eyes and everything were
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be a better production out there they could have found, but
the first
Better blow up.
yeah, honestly.
I'm assuming that the blow up wasn't there last year.
It was not.
No, it was not. They haven't. I think when Ryan Leonard left, he took it with him. Like, I don't think anybody's had it since.
Well, I'm going to see him this weekend. I'm going to do some work for him with Renfrew this weekend,
yeah?
so I'm pretty excited. But maybe I'll ask him when I'm there.
Oh yeah, actually, dude, tell him I asked too, because I actually am curious about it.
We'll have to break if he has it. I'll ask him if I could just steal it because
Oh my God, that'd
it's
be awesome.
amazing. It's so bad. This
I've
thing.
been saying for 2 years now, we need a jet or something to fly out.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, or dress somebody up like a pilot and just have them run back and forth in front of the stands.
I know Chris had talked about getting a mascot at one point, even with just like a fighter helmet.
Why we were
With the
trying
And a
to.
flight suit, fighter helmet, flight suit. You're
Well,
perfect.
yeah,
Well, you
last
could just
year-
even put the jersey on too.
Yeah,
like have
that's
someone
it.
wear a jersey.
Well, last year too with Top Gun coming, we kept trying to get McDougal every game. We just kept trying to be like, just put a helmet on and run back and forth, like put your arms out like an airplane. But
It's
you never.
amazing.
We put him through enough. We didn't
Yeah,
have to.
Dukes, we love you, but we're sorry for last year. We tortured him for a bit.
Yeah, we did.
I can understand why he left. No,
Yeah, honestly, I don't blame him.
wasn't the playing career. He just like needed it out basically.
Yeah, I mean, I will say we never really got caught on too many of the pranks, but, but most of them.
It never was me and Hardo doing the pranks. It was always somebody else.
Oh sure, right.
Yeah, well, we got lucky because I think Lemmer and I enjoyed doing a couple pranks here and there. And then if you remember Liam's service, he pulled the prank on McDougal. And McDougal caught him. Yeah. So then we just went and blamed every prank forward on him. So we just had the perfect little rat. Whereas anytime we did something like, who did this? We're like, oh, service getting back at you. Like,
And then they'd always go after each other.
then they just fought each other all year while we just kept playing pranks on them. So
Oh, you guys are the worst. I love it.
yeah, we got up last year. I mean, Wilkie too would join in. So it got out of hand a couple times.
Okay, so what's the best safe for podcast prank that you guys pulled on the guy?
It's got to be the
Contacts?
glasses.
Yeah.
It's got to be the glasses.
You want to tell it or should I?
He doesn't want to indict himself here.
No, so Dukes, he wears glasses. So we found a pair of his glasses and we put them in the case and we taped them to the back of the exit sign. But he wears contacts, so you can still see. So we're not bad guys. We just wanted to make him feel like he lost his glasses. And then he's
It wasn't until the next day because I think it was like an afternoon practice. So it wasn't until the next morning where we showed up and he was livid.
He was angry.
And he would start yelling, being like, "Who did this? Who did this?" I couldn't find my glasses, and then he kept trying to tell us that his eyes were drying out on the way home, so he had to pull over,
and
take
lick
his
his
contacts, and lick them before putting them. And he's just telling us how he had the most miserable drive home, and we're dying laughing. And he's like, "I still haven't found my glasses," and I go, "Oh, I just saw them behind the exit sign," and he goes, "Grabs them." So that was that one was pretty good. And then there was the Facebook one. Yeah, Dukes has to get better passwords.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
I probably
does.
shouldn't share this. I mean, hopefully no one in Niagara listens to this, but McDougal likes to do his passwords for his birthday. So it was Lemcke got a hold of his computer one day and was just like, "What do you think McDougal's password is?"
Oh no.
So I just Googled him quick and I just said, well, his birthday, I don't remember what it was, but if it's March 12th or whatever, I just said, 0312, try that. Boom, right away we got it. So then
No hesitation.
Yeah.
Right to Facebook. We started right away.
I think Lemcke posted 3 pictures of himself being like my favorite player, like #1 Voodoos fan, all this stuff. So yeah, we had some fun with McDougal over the months last year.
Oh my god. You probably gave him some early gray hairs.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
And then the worst would be if they would play a prank and I'd be up in the office and I'd have to remind myself about the prank because we'd just forget where we put stuff because we had so much. Like there's one
We had
where
so much going on.
he was playing men's league and he'd leave his gear up there and we took his helmet with the visor and we put it in the freezer. But the issue was I was supposed to remember 2 hours
to take it out.
And I forgot.
Oh no.
So this was at 7 a.m. We put it in there. At 9:30 p.m. I get a call from McDougal being like, "Do you know where the guys put my helmet?" And I go, "You're not going to like it, but I think it's frozen in the freezer." So he took it out and the whole thing was frozen. He couldn't wear it. So he had to go grab someone else's helmet and wear it. So there's been a couple instances like that.
But it was all fun and games. Nobody got hurt. It was all fun and games.
It was all out of love. For Dukes.
Everybody got their get back and they're good.
Have you guys learned your lesson or do you treat Haas just the same?
Honestly, yeah, I haven't messed around with Haas too much. The thing with Dukes is, as you know, he gets mad at everything.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to get under his skin. Yeah. Haas is so easy going. I feel like if you prank Haas, he'd be like, whatever. Like, he would just kind of rub it off. Like
I haven't done anything to Haas this year.
No, but I don't even think he'd be affected by it. And it's not fun if you can't get him mad or anything.
I think he'd find it funny. Haas, I think he'd find it funny.
Yeah, so actually there hasn't been too many victims this year. We haven't really done too many.
Yeah,
wow. You guys have really toned it down.
Yeah, he's 20. He's mature now. So
I'm too old for all this prank stuff.
Yeah. That's for a 19-year-old.
Yeah, 20-year-old. He's a different human now. So
it was funny. I remember back when McDougall was first coming back, because he played here, right? So I remember him from his playing days. And I remember JJ, I was playing like Call of Duty or something with JJ. Terrible Call of Duty player, I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not one to talk.
I don't game either, so
I'm not that great. But man, this guy, well, he ended up figuring it out. But anyways, he's like, oh, you'll never guess who's coming to take over for me, and joins the party, Matt, and all this stuff. That guy, man, he rages.
Oh yeah, that's why it's so fun, because it's like literally you just hide his pencil, and it's just 30 minutes angry. Of him being so mad,
like
and
the
it's
vein
awesome.
Popping out of his head, like just angry.
So that's why he's a pretty easy target.
That's fair. That's fair. Josh, I know it's always brought up. I don't think we've been able to bring it up on the podcast, but Peter traded you.
He did, yeah. He likes to tell everybody he meets
all the time.
Yeah, honestly, about 4 to 5 times a year. I'll hear that more every time we do a rookie camp. He tells every kid that he meets that story. Yeah. But yeah, he did. It was. I played 1 year under him in Kingston, and then when I was going to my 20-year-old year, he wasn't coaching actually. He was because he was coaching the Brampton Beast, assistant coach at the time, so he was only the general manager, but. They were going a little younger, and they're getting a couple kids from the front. So
he said, "You're too old. It's time to go."
Yeah, pretty much. Is that
what he said?
No. He didn't actually. No, Pete.
Putting you out to pasture.
Yeah. Anybody who's met Pete knows he's probably one of the nicest guys in all hockey.
I was gonna say I couldn't believe that.
No, we like to joke.
He's the nicest guy ever.
No, we like to joke about it now, but he handled it great back then. Obviously, it was a shock to me, but I always joke around because it was actually we just got back from that Cochrane preseason tournament I was telling you about, and we'd won the tournament, and as a D I scored a hat trick in the finals. I got tournament MVP. I came home, I woke up to a text at 8 a.m. being like, meet me in the office, and by 8:30 I was traded.
Oh my.
Yeah, so
back in his bag.
Yeah, so I said the hat trick really upped my value, I guess, and all the teams were calling. So it was good though. He ended up trading me to Markham, a team that was going for a championship, and as a kid at the time, all my best friends, everybody at the time was in Kingston, so it was tough on me. But now looking back, it was one of the better things that happened to me. It helps you grow up and realize also that life ain't fair. So you kind of grow up quick when you kind of get thrown in situations like that. So now I guess I'm appreciative for it, and even though we joke around a lot about it, and especially being in the hockey world now, it makes total sense. Like back then as a kid, you don't understand teams that are trying to go for a run or trying to go younger. You just think every year, hey, we're going to win a championship because you're a kid and you're a little naive. So understanding the business side of hockey now, I would say the trade made perfect sense at the time, but it's a nice little thing that he has on me for sure for the rest of my life.
When he brings it up,
we won't let you forget it.
No, he'll never let me forget it till the day he dies.
But the thing about it is, I don't know if that's should be more embarrassing for him or more embarrassing for you kind of thing.
I gotta say it's Hardo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys like to say it's me, but yeah. I mean, hey, my team went farther in playoffs that year. That's all I'll say.
So anytime you visited Kingston as a player after that, was it or was that the same league?
Yeah, it was the same league. I mean,
I don't know the OJ though. So
it was funny. I played them twice. And I remember the first time I came back, we played them 4 times actually, twice in Kingston. I remember the first time I came back, my old D partner he was a little more of an old school type of player, and we played great together, and he lit this guy up at center ice on my team, just killed him. And back then there was a little more fighting and stuff in junior hockey, and I wasn't gonna fight him, but as a joke I went up and tapped him just to see if he'd go crazy. He didn't see it was me, he turned around, and then when he finally saw it was me, he started laughing. So there was kind of a couple of jokes like that. I mean, I played in Kingston for a while, and 2 of my best friends to this day are my D partners. So it's
there you go.
Yeah, and with that team too, we had an unbelievable team, and we ended up losing in the finals that year to Trenton. So whenever you go on a deep playoff run with a team, you kind of stay close with them. But it was definitely weird playing back the first couple times in Kingston. But then every time I played there, Pete was in the crowd. So every time I scored or something like that, I knew exactly to point to or have a look. So I was lucky enough at one of the games I did score, and I ended up giving him something. So it was kind of nice, but yeah.
Clearly, it wasn't anything bad if he hired you right away.
Yeah. No, that wasn't
an Andrew Ferens flipping the bird to the crowd or anything.
No, there's nothing like that. That'd be about a 50-game suspension nowadays.
Yeah,
That'd be probably indefinite suspension.
Get thrown in jail. But, it's a funny story now. Obviously, all these years working together and me and him being so close friends, but. Yeah, he definitely likes to bring it up from time to time.
When it is brought up at like rookie camps and stuff, you're just like, here we go again.
I just know what's coming. I mean, it's at the point now where I kind of feel bad. There's sometimes where I'll just stop listening because I'm like, I've heard this a million times. But
you know the shtick now.
Yeah, but
he knows the whole spiel. He knows how it's going to get set up and knocked down right away.
Well, I like to always remind Pete, like I was there too. Like I do remember it. You don't need to say it every single time. So,
but do you want a chance to say it?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I don't want to tell my side's a little more sadder than his. His is all fun and games. I was waking up at 8 a.m. and crying, so it was a little harder.
Did you have an idea what he texted you? Or
I had no idea.
Oh, okay. So
the funniest part is, and I swear to God, and I tell this to Pete every day because now listening back, I feel like such an idiot thinking this. When he texted me, I thought I was getting named not captain, assistant captain, because we had Reed Russell was one of my best friends. He was our captain. But we didn't have any A's name, so I thought he was calling all the guys in the morning because like our season was starting that week to be like, hey, you guys are leadership groups. So I came in all happy, cheerful. I just scored a hat trick. I was all flying. I was so happy. And then I go from hoping to be a leader on the team to getting traded. So it was quite the roller coaster for me in the morning. Yeah,
he shot you right down right away.
Yeah. Right, come through the door. You're out of here.
Yeah, I was flying high, and the next thing I know, my wings were clipped.
On top of that, you just got away from the crazy bear up in Cochrane.
No, well, that's the thing too. Well, from Kingston, it was an 11-hour road trip.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. I played euchre for 10 straight hours, and like I couldn't play euchre for 6 months after. Like it was just that's all we did. So it was an 11-hour bus trip. Got home, barely got any slept, and then woke up to that, and then things went pretty fast.
Was it like the day after?
It was the next morning.
No.
That was the worst part. What
a wild day.
I know. I was so mad at him. I was like, you couldn't even let me sleep in or anything. Like I woke up because I had a text and a missed call from him, and I was like, it's 7:45. Like he knows we got back late last night, so I was like, this is something big. And then he was like, come see me in the office, and then it was just downhill from there. So yeah, that was my experience getting traded.
Well, on the right side, Lemcke, you've never had one of those texts, so
no, I have not. Right about now sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I feel like you got to hold that against him now. You didn't get moved at all. He got moved though.
He knows it. Deep down, he knows it.
That's funny though. So when you kind of come back to work for Pete, was there like any animosity at first, or were you just happy that he gave you a job?
Yeah, at the first I was just happy I got a job, not too much. But honestly, the first couple of years I didn't joke about it as much. It wasn't until I'd say year 3 or 4 where he started throwing it out a lot more. But no, he likes to tell it. I mean, he thinks it's a great story, obviously, of friendship and all that stuff, which it is. I mean,
yeah,
something like that. I mean, I've traded kids, he's traded kids, so there's kind of been. You sometimes have a reaction where the kid will hate you for the rest of his life, which is understandable because when you're 18, that's what you'd think. So I think he enjoys the story because he can see how two guys, after going through some stuff, can work together and be good friends.
And be best friends.
Yeah, be best friends. But I like to look at it a little differently than he does sometimes. But no, it's a great story at the end of the day. And I'm always going to be grateful to Pete for everything he's done for me. Life, hockey. I mean, after being in the hockey world for close to 10 years now, he's the most caring, nicest person, most honest person I've ever met in the game. And it's a quality that's rare, I would say. And in the world of athletics, not just hockey. So when you do find it, it's kind of nice, especially for a young guy, me starting out, having sort of that as the guy to follow and also have sort of, have my back whenever I want. If I have a guy who's honest and is always going to care for me, it's kind of nice because he's kind of giving me that freedom and confidence.
So whenever you break that news to kids now, is it like easier because you've gone through that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, no. I would say no because I know exactly what that kid's feeling,
yeah, that's fair.
And that's the hardest part. Where it's like, as much as like Pete, I mean, Lemcke can speak more about it. Like he is a caring guy. Like he's done it for so many years. Where I guess like he doesn't remember what it might have felt like to be traded. So sometimes it can get away from guys, but me, it's still pretty fresh. So. I think it's more like when he gives me the heads up, like, hey, we're training this guy. We got to have a talk. It's more like, oh, crap. Like, I don't want to deal with this. Because at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, I'll say there are kids you trade away that you're a little happy about, maybe that aren't the best kids. But I would say 85% of the kids ever, it's sad because it's just hockey-wise or they want a different opportunity and didn't work out. But it's never easy. I mean, you're taking a kid away from his friends and sometimes crushing their hopes and dreams. So it's like, when you look at it that way, it's pretty dark sometimes. But I like to use my experience where it's just like, hey, I thought my world was coming to an end. You know, I was going a whole new situation at 20, and it ended up being hockey. It was the best year of my life. I ended up being a captain of the team there and loving the guys there and having a great playoff run. So it's sometimes one door closes, a couple others open, and you just kind of have to have that mentality of it. But yeah, I feel for the kids every time. It's never easy.
What's it like? I was gonna. He's ready to jump all over.
Get in there, buddy.
I got nothing to say.
Hey, you've never been traded.
Exactly. I don't know the feeling.
And
thank God I don't know the feeling.
What's it like on the player side of things? So when a guy gets sent away and you got to take him out of the group chat and all that jazz. And
no, it's tough, especially if he's one of your buddies. Yeah, you get traded. It's tough to see one of your friends go, but it's hockey. There's nothing that us the players can do about it. It's the coaching staff decision, and it's nothing we can do about it. But it's heartbreaking sometimes to see one of your friends go.
My first ever experience, I've said it on the podcast before, but I'll bring it up again because it's kind of a funny story in hindsight. My first ever time meeting Pete was just after, it was like your first preseason game against French River last year. And Chris had me come up. He wanted me to write an article on the game, so I had to get some quotes from Pete. And I walked into the room, and Chris was like, oh yeah, he'll be with you in a second. We're just sitting there. And the next thing, he just starts bringing in kids and starts cutting them right in front of him.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
And I was sitting there over where your like stalls are, where all your like you guys have your equipment as a coaching staff, and I was just kind of like, what is going on right now?
I mean, I have some all-time stories of Pete in those situations. I remember one time in Trenton, the all-time funniest is exactly that, where we're talking to a kid, we're letting him go, and at the same time, Pete would order pizza about 30 minutes before. We have this poor pizza guy sitting in this room with maybe 25 extra large pizzas as this kid's crying and getting cut. And this guy's just waiting to get paid and get out of there. And he's just standing in the corner with all these pizzas. And it was like, I'm like, this is a cartoon. Like, what is going on right now? Like, can we do one or the other and just kind of work it out? But no, we have to do. Pete's like that sometimes where he gets going in his brain. He just needs to do everything at one time and forgets what's going on.
Like, I understand the situation. I'm the least of his priorities at that point. Like, that's fine. I get that. But I'm sitting there just being like, I'm watching these kids either the best day of their life or it's the worst day of their life. And like some of them, their parents are coming in too. And I'm just like sitting there. So I went up to Chris eventually. I was like, can you just get him to call me later and we'll just do it that way? And then Chris was like, oh, you just want to do it now? And then like some kid and his dad had just sat down and he's like, hey, Peter, this is Kortney. He's going to get some quotes from you. He's like, oh yeah, we'll just do it right now. So the poor kid's sitting there about, I don't know if he's going to get cut or not.
He's shaking in his boots trying to figure out what the decision is.
It was like 3 minutes. Well, you know, Pete, he could give like 2 minute long answers, right? So it was like a 3 minute thing. And I was just like, as soon as I was done, I was like, okay, bye. And I got out of there as quickly as I could.
Well, I think like he could talk about it, but like one of the funny things about Pete is just like that. When he gets his mind set on something, it needs to be done that second.
Yeah.
So I think some of the funniest is like when we do those pre-scout meetings or pre-game meetings and he gets a phone call. And if it's a phone call he needs to take, he'll take it in front of the whole. He'll take it in front of the whole team. So we got 25 kids there
sitting patiently quiet.
There. And he's like working the deals, working the phones in front of everyone. Oh my God. And it's so funny.
Then he hangs up, back to what he was doing right away.
But no mention of it. It's like that phone call never happened to him. Like it was two separate incidents. It's just, to me, that's some of the funniest stuff when he does that.
I love Pete. He's one of my favorite people in the hockey world for sure. But when I had the privilege of going on the bus, in early January, I sat right behind him.
Yeah.
And all I heard for the whole entire time was either Candy Crush or Reels.
Oh, yeah. That's all it is. And the best part was, because I brought this up to him, actually, because obviously I've been traveling with him for years, and I don't think the guy's ever owned a pair of headphones or knows what they are. And I brought it up to him, actually, when we were out east for the Team Canada East event. And he just said, if you don't want to listen to it, you turn yours louder. And that was his answer. I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, because you don't tell Pete what to do.
But yeah, Pete's either Candy Crush, sometimes poker, sometimes other little games, but he's funny.
He had like a word one going on or whatever. But
well, the best is when he gets worked up when we get the bad bus. Like there's one bus. There's like a rotation of 3 or 4 buses we'll get, and there's one that is from the 80s.
Horrendous.
Oh my god, the seat.
Okay, thankfully I wasn't stuck with that one.
Well, there's no plugins, nothing you can use to charge. The seats are brutal.
You can't watch movies.
Like everything about the bus sucks, and we get it about 4 or 5 times a year.
I hope you don't have to bring it to like Hearst. That would suck.
What?
I'd lose my
I
mind.
never even thought about that. But every time that thing pulls up, Pete will go on a 5-minute rant of just going off on that bus and how much he hates it and how he can't get comfortable and all this stuff, and it's so funny.
It's really funny because all these stories are like making him seem like, you know, like a diva and all that.
He's not. He's the complete opposite. I mean, the guy doesn't need anything to live, really, but there's certain things that he's particular about, and it's pretty funny when it rattles him.
There was also one game just before Christmas. I saw you guys walking out towards the bench. Like the game's about to start. There's like 2 minutes left on the clock before the game starts. And I feel a buzz in my pocket. I pull up my phone. It's Pete. Come see me after the game. I was like, oh no, what did I do? Like, what did I say? Like, I was like, the broadcast is done. Like, we're out of here. I was like, what could I have possibly said that like set him up? So I texted Chris immediately being like, did I piss off Pete? He's like, no. He's like, why? And he's like, oh, he wants to see me after the game. He's like, oh, he's got a Christmas card for you.
Yeah, but this ruins the surprise right away.
But that's the thing with Pete is like he'll make it seem like it's a super serious, like he won't give any context ever to anything. Like he'll just be like, you need to see me immediately. And it could be the happiest thing in the world, but you feel like you're getting fired for some reason. Like it's just, that's how he is.
Well, that's
it's so funny.
Immediately where my mind went. Yeah. Because I was like, what's so important that he's walking out to the bench right now to coach a game of hockey? That he has to text the play-by-play guy to tell him to see him after the game.
No, my thought process would have been the same. You know, I'm done here.
Yeah. Now I know what it's like to be traded.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
All right. I'll we'll wrap it up, but I'll leave it off with one thing. I'll start with you, Josh, and then we'll go to you, Cameron. But Pete gets the job up in Powassan. How quick were you to say yes when he asked you if you wanted to come too?
Yeah, that was actually a crazy summer. So we got let go by Trenton very late. So we had already ran a prospects camp in Trenton in May, and then it was like a week after we got fired.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was it was
really weird.
Yeah, we weren't totally happy. So it was like we set up all this prospect camp, and then it was after that we got let go. So it was kind of like we were scrambling. Obviously, I got no idea what's going on, and basically I ended up telling Pete, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket with you. So it's like, I got other people I know, but wherever you end up, we'll go. And we were talking to a couple of teams, actually. There was a couple teams in the States we were looking at. There's 2 teams actually in this league. Like Powassan was one of them, and there was another team as well that we were talking to.
Wow.
Sorry?
Wow.
Well, I didn't meet you yet, buddy, so don't get too offended, all right? I mean, you weren't even coming back to play hockey when I was deciding whether I was coaching or not, so...
that was a big thing. He's like, is this guy Lemcke, is he coming back?
Yeah, that was the only thing in my contract was I needed to meet Cameron Lemcke, but no, so I'm trying to think, it was like, I think it was last week of May. It was right before June 1st that Pete got hired.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I remember June 1st hit, and obviously that's when it's kind of open season and we can start signing guys and stuff. And it was crazy how fast things go, because usually we have an off season where you have a prospect camp, you build a pool of prospects, and then you kind of just whittle down from there. And we didn't have that because it was kind of like, hey, here's the job. Pete got hired. I think he called me. He was still with Jim Bruce when he called me, and he said, hey, just talk to Jim. We worked out all the contract, all this stuff. He says, if you're good, it's a green light. And then obviously it took a bit to think about it. I took the job, though, about an hour later, I would say. And then it was just within, I think, a week, we had to build where we met you the first time was that camp. It was a week of us calling, like we had to get 80 kids, set up all these teams, rent the ice, get food. I mean, it was probably the craziest 2 to 3 weeks of my off season ever, because it was just how fast everything came together and we had no time to prepare. I mean, a month or 2 months into us getting hired, the season starting, like it was just kind of, we were lucky that we did have a good core of guys that Mark LaFleur had brought in the year before, whether it be prospects or returning guys like Mr. Lemcke. So we were lucky. I mean, anytime you start the year, you got Cameron Lemcke and you got Alex Little.
Yeah,
you've got 2 good pieces to start. So yeah, it was kind of a lot of fast things. And I mean, you guys probably saw that with the way we built the team throughout the year. Like we were adding guys up until the deadline, I think.
Yep.
And for us, it was kind of the thing where last year we took the approach where we're building and our team and our process wasn't going to be done till the deadline. And we kind of knew that going in because how late we got the job. Whereas this year, other than 2 guys really, like Kaser and Jacko, this team was here training camp. Like all 12 forwards here have been here the whole time, other than Rive that we just added. So it's like this whole team this year, the mindset was different with all the training players. Were like, hey, our team's here. We're going to add 2 or 3 pieces just because that's how hockey goes. But our team and our core's here where we don't need to look to add guys. So we just put all the focus sort of on our own guys rather than still trying to build a team throughout the year. So I think that's been the biggest advantage this year rather than last year, how quick the offseason came together.
Yeah, I imagine like it kind of worked out perfectly. Like Mark left really late, and all that stuff. And then you guys just happened to.
Well, that was the thing was like I told you, we got let go. And I think we were talking to all these teams and I think Mark hadn't left yet. Like, I think it was a thing where Mark left, and then the next day, Jim Bruce called Pete, kind of thing. Like, it was very quick because Powassan, like the original, I think Pete had 4 or 5 teams we were looking at and talking to, and Powassan wasn't even on that list. So, like, when he called me back and said, "Hey, bud, it's Powassan," I go, "We didn't even talk about Powassan." So it was out of left field. But I knew this organization for years because it's kind of been, I would say, one of the top 3 organizations in the Node for the last 15, 20 years. So obviously as a junior guy, I always knew about it. I knew about North Bay a bit. So, but it's been nice. It's been nice coming here.
I remember that day when I seen a goofy little picture up on the Instagram machine.
And he
said, like, who is this
that's
guy?
that's my future best friend right there.
We're going from Mark LaFleur to this guy. Like.
No, I remember when Mark was leaving, he gave me a call. I was at work. I was upstairs in the break room. He said,
"You weren't cutting meat."
He said,
no, that's where he spends all his time at work. Is the break room.
So the cutting meat is just a front.
Oh yeah.
He called me and said, "Hey Cam, I'm not coming back. I wish you the best of luck and your hockey moving forward. If you need anything, call me." And then 2 days later, I saw that we hired Pete and Hardo as coaches for the Powassan Voodoos.
Yeah.
So it happened very quickly.
Yeah.
I remember that time just from hanging out with Chris because he's like, I remember he texted me being like, "Yeah, Mark's not coming back next year." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's really wild and crazy." And then he's like, a day later, he's like, "Oh, we hired these guys." And I was just like, "Oh, who are these guys?" And because you don't know coaches as a broadcaster, right? They're so interchangeable. No offense, they're so interchangeable.
I don't expect you to know who I was.
I know enough now. No? Yeah. But he's like, "Yeah, I've known Pete for years. He's one of my friends." And I was like, "Oh, no." Right off the hop, I was just like, "Oh no, if he's friends with Chris Dawson, this is game over.
Awesome.
We're done."
The great CD,
All-star baby.
He's awesome, but he's. I don't know what it's like on the bench for you guys. Like, I'm sure you guys, ebbs and flows. You get mad with how things are going, but if you stand in the corner for a game with him,
It's a heart attack.
Every play.
I can't do it. It's insane. I mean, I remember I watched one of the midget games last year when obviously the son Caleb was on the team, and we had a bunch of guys that were AP'd or scouting from that team. I remember I spent 1 period with him in a corner, and that was the last period I ever watched any hockey with him. It's insane. It's like every play, like I dump in and he's going nuts, and I was just like, "Chris, they're changing. Like, let's relax." So he loves the game, and obviously he's always going to support his teams and stuff like that. But yeah, he gets a little intense.
He does get fired up at some points.
Oh yeah. Well, the best would be too after a big win or something. He'll be waiting by the door and he'll always give a big couple fist bumps or something like that. So
everybody's getting them.
Yeah, whenever he's animated, it's always kind of funny and gets the group going. So
he makes me laugh because there's those boards there that he'll just be slamming the whole game or kicking or
saying those spare boards that are just stacked there.
I'll show you a video before you guys go of against Tim and something that happened, and he refrained himself and said "son of a gun" in the video. You can hear him like yelling it. It's so good.
Oh my god.
But for you, Cameron, just to add on to that initial one, you see the picture on Instagram, and then you have 2 months to get to know these guys before the season. What's going through your mind?
Well, I'm just looking to get in, play hockey, and get focused, and hopefully go far. And I was hoping that these guys could do it, and they did it. And I have nothing but great things to say for both of them. It was amazing the way they handled everything right away in that short term. It was good.
Look, even more compliments.
Yeah, wow, buddy. Thanks. You're feeling real sentimental today, or what?
Wait till tomorrow morning.
I was about to say,
7 o'clock.
We're going to be fighting tomorrow at practice.
Oh, well, I'll let you know. This will come out on Thursday, so then you can have all the ammunition you need.
Yeah, well, one thing I do have to say on this podcast is Carson Ricci's a liar. All right, don't listen to any of the publicity. He is a liar. I never cheated. I beat him fair and square in tennis, and I'll beat him fair and square in any gymnasium sport there is. So Carson Ricci, come find me.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because that was something I was going to ask about from when he was on here, and then
it was basically him and Al talk. Him and Al probably go to the gym the most, and they'll go play we've got a little gym there where you can set up racket sports, basketball, kind of anything. So they'll play often, and every now and then I'll hop in. And so one day they told me to play tennis, and I kind of said, hey, I used to play tennis, kid. I used to be pretty good. They didn't believe me. So I literally went to them. I said, pick any guy on the team. I don't care who, and I'll beat you. So they ended up giving me D-Rock. So me and D-Rock went over there and destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them. I don't think Ricci touched any of my serves. It was all aces. Like, it was just, there was a hole in his racket. It was so bad. Al's good. I'll give Al credit. He is a good player. He's an amazing badminton player. I don't know if you've ever played badminton with him. He smoked me in badminton, but yeah, Ricci likes to talk a game, and then the second you start beating him, he calls everybody a cheater. And so that's who Carson Ricci is.
Did D-Rock get any touches, or was he?
Yeah, no, Derek was good. He's good. He was good at the net, actually. Goalie, nice quick reactions. Wasn't much of a tennis guy, I can tell, but yeah, no, tennis used to be my sport growing up, so I'll take them any day of the week in that.
Fair enough. Do you?
But you won't take me one-on-one,
buddy. I don't even
one-on-one.
You want to go and play tennis
right now? Bring the podcast.
Have you,
We're going.
Have you ever picked up a racket?
Yeah, I'm good at racket sports.
Hey.
Well, now we'll have to put that to the test.
Go tomorrow after workout.
All right, I'm there. I got nothing else to do.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, there you go. Big tennis match tomorrow.
Yeah, match of the century.
Reg match.
Josh, Cameron, though, we do really appreciate you guys finally making it on the podcast. This is honestly no word of lie. There was pressure coming into this one. You guys lived up to it, so I appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us anytime.
We'll definitely bring up your trade more often.
Yeah, don't worry. I've heard it all, so
It'll come up a few more times for playoffs, guaranteed.
We'll do it. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Barry! Huh? I told you not to be scaring the customers.
Hey, Barry! Come on in for a bite. And bring Brianna with you.
For only 2 minutes up the hill, where you're only a stranger once.
Ready to embark on an electrifying adventure? Look no further than the Mitsubishi Outlander, available in gas or PHEV, the SUV that redefines excellence. Recently awarded the best midsize utility vehicle in Canada for 2023 by AJAC. This bold and sophisticated SUV delivers advanced performance, safety, and tech, plus peace of mind with its standard super all-wheel control and the best warranty in the business. With red-hot deals and plenty in stock, your award-winning drive starts with the Mitsubishi Outlander.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hello, It's John C.
Welcome back. Huge thank you to Josh Hardiman and Cameron Lemcke for coming in here as we get some. Thanks. I appreciate that. You completely derailed it, but we're going to keep on going. Anyways, yeah, huge thanks to Josh Hardiman and Cameron Lemcke for joining us on the podcast this week. Kortney County, Harrison Clements from the Garrison. It doesn't really rhyme that well when you put in your last name.
Yeah, we try and avoid that.
Okay, so you're just Harrison Garrison from now on?
Yeah, Harrison Garrison, or Herrick the Cleric, has been long.
Yeah,
tries to call me. Yeah, it's like my other Instagram name, and he says it wrong, but he insists on that.
What's it supposed to be?
Harry C. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Anyway,
that's okay. My buddy's gamer tag on Xbox when, you gamed with him the one time, the guy from the States.
Oh, yeah.
It's Inertia, but I always thought it was Interax the first time I played with him. Anyways.
Touchless payments.
Hey, Cassie.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah. You got a big
Yeah.
tournament this weekend, eh?
I do.
Yeah, are you excited? You nervous?
Well, I'm excited because we're going down early, so that means I get to shop. But
Spoken like a true teenager.
oh my god.
Where are you going to go shopping? What's your favorite store in Barrie?
Any shoe store, honestly.
Yeah, your big shoe. How many pairs of shoes do you have?
I couldn't tell you off the
I got like
top of my
two.
head.
I got like three, actually. I got my everyday pair. I got my dress shoes. I got my business casual shoes. Oh, and then I got my Metallica Vans that I don't really wear unless it's a nice day because I don't want to ruin those. Harrison, how many shoes you got?
I think I got like 8 or 9 pairs of footwear.
Really?
I got my work boot steel toes.
Oh,
I
okay.
have my
Well, for counting those, I got 2 pairs of work boots. So
yeah, I have those that I'm wearing right now. I have my snowmobile boots, though I've never been snowmobiling, but they're good for deep snow. And then I have probably like 6 or 7 pairs of shoes. So
wow.
Yeah, I only wear a few of them. I have like my nice pair of Air Force Ones that I only wear on occasion because living in North Bay, I don't want to wear nice shoes out because there's sand everywhere. It's courses. Anyway.
Gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere.
Yeah, that's why I don't wear my Metallica Vans too often. I wore them, the first time I wore them was to game 1 against the Barrie Colts last year, and then they lost, so I didn't wear them again in that series. Because it was just happened to be a really nice day in April. But like, what's your favorite pair of footwear, Cassie? If we're gonna ask it, like footwear
That I own? Or
yeah, that
like,
you own. I also have golf shoes that I like, so if we're gonna add.
I don't like sand.
Thanks, Ben.
Oh my gosh. I'd probably
Rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere.
Oh, he doesn't even say coarse.
Oh.
We've been saying that line wrong for years, just like the "No, I am your father" line. People say that one wrong all the time.
I get that one right, but I screw up that one. Anyway,
Do you even know Star Wars?
No, apparently not, because we left at episode 4. But
yeah, that's true. Anyways, Cassie.
oh my gosh. Probably I forget the name of them now. But they're like
Now's not the time to be forgetting.
I know. They're like mid something from Nike. I have no clue. But they're like pure white.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
They're probably Air Force Ones.
Kinda. Like
Air Force 2.
they're kind of like a high top version of Air Forces.
I like high
basically.
tops more than low tops, though.
Yeah, high tops are good.
My current shoes that I've had for like 2 years, which is a really long time for me to have shoes. Usually it's like, if they're my everyday shoes, they're gone after like a year at the most, because I wear them in the winter too and everything. Like, it's not the end, but these are like not high tops and they're really weird. I like them. I'm a big skate shoe guy. That's the kind of shoes that I wear all the time, skate shoes. So, because I'm still 15 and play Tony Hawk.
Boy.
He said, "See you later, boy." What?
Nothing.
Not a big fan of Avril Lavigne?
I didn't say anything.
Hey, you. We're going to talk some hockey finally.
Shall we?
Yeah, we probably should. The North Bay Battalion, we're going to talk about these guys very briefly again. If you want, go check out the After Action Report for more in-depth detail. Harrison and I were on both of them this week. And we're going to be on it again this Friday together.
Yeah, the first and probably only Friday outside of maybe the playoffs.
And there's like usually to start the season.
Yeah, that's true.
We got to talk about the Niagara Ice Dogs game. Though we have it up wrong on our screen. We got to talk about there we go. 12-1 Battalion win.
Wow. Yeah, that was... Well, both of these games were ridiculous, but this one in particular was just absurd. I think it was tied with the most goals that the Battalion have scored in franchise history.
Yep. Well, in North Bay.
In North Bay, okay.
I'm not sure about Brampton.
Yeah,
to be honest, no offense to the Battalion, I don't really care about Brampton all that much when it comes to stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like weird. It's like the Coyotes having like Winnipeg Jets stats in records. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
Like, just take it from Arizona, your time in Arizona. So,
yeah. But lots of scoring, and Niagara couldn't get one on the board till the very end when the Battalion kind of let off the gas a little bit, which you kind of get. You're up by that much of a margin, but it still would have been cool to get. I think it was Dom in net for that.
Yep.
His second shutout. But I think the reason that they had Dom in net for that one is they were just like, okay, Niagara's beat us twice now. We really gotta beat them. Otherwise, I think they basically win the season series, or get
I'm not
close.
Sure, but it is close. That's for sure.
Because they won once at the beginning of the year against the Ice Dogs, and then they lost 2. So if they didn't win this one, I think they lose the season series, like just by default. Because I think they only play them once more after that last matchup. But
well, we'll have to see how Niagara retaliates in that one. Might be a little bit more upset. Big night, though, from the top line, each of them getting 4 points each. So, yeah, combining for a total of 12 in a 12-1 game is pretty impressive. And even after that goal, Harrison, the Battalion still scored 3 more goals.
Yeah, they still scored 3 more, which is ridiculous. Yeah, because that one goal came at the very beginning of the third period from Rafik, Dianov, and Eric He assisted on that. I think that's his first OHL point on that assist in his 4th game. So that's cool. Both the He brothers on the board not on the board in this game, but on the roster in this game. They just officially signed Eric He recently, I believe, among a couple other players.
So we'll move on to the next game against the Kingston Frontenacs, in which, is this game going to be close? No, 9-0 Battalion again, Harrison.
Yeah, we absolutely expected this one to be, Kingston's a good team. They're kind of in that Eastern Conference running, a bit more towards the bottom, but still a team that you got to take seriously, and the Battalion certainly did. And we see 4 goals from Sandis Vilmanis, making him I believe the OHL player of the night for those matchups. 4 goals, no assists. That last goal with an assist from Ertl, and Vilmanis making the hat trick look easy, just pushing into the zone himself, flips it backhand, top cheddar, and it just looked beautiful. Like, he's been super impressive, and I think he's tied the top scorers with goals since the trade deadline. Was the stat?
So it was his first game was January 11th against Mississauga. He's tied with Romani with 13. I don't know how many games that is. I should have dived into that. But yeah, he's tied with Romani at 13. Van Steensel's right behind, and then Wakely rounding out the top 4.
Just ridiculous. But he's been an absolutely incredible addition to the Battalion this season. And also of note, Mike McIver gets his first OHL shutout. He looked really solid. He didn't face a ton of shots until the final frame. I think it was 10 shots between the first and the second period, and then he faced 12 in the third, and he stood strong. He had to do a little bit of acrobatics there, but all in all, guys were blocking shots till the very end, really playing for Mike to get that shutout, so that was awesome to see.
Yeah, and that's something that head coach Ryan Wilhan said post-game to Chris Dawson, too, with Bay today, is that, they were really trying to get Mike that shutout, and they were blocking shots in a 9-0 game, with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, and you love to see that from a team going into the playoffs, that you're fighting till the very end, that you're making sure every game, every goal against, every goal for counts, and especially that you're playing for each other to that intensity.
Yep.
So
can't complain too much with that one.
I think that's about all we need to break down here. But if not, go listen to the North Bay Mitsubishi After Action Report. We got 2 40-minute episodes up covering each of those games respectively, so go check that out.
Nice plug.
Hey.
Sure you didn't take broadcasting?
No, I didn't. I took film.
I think you're a liar. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
We'll move things to the Noj now, in which was supposed to be a 3-game week for the Powassan Voodoos, but it was actually a 2-game week accidentally. Turns out it was wind that actually was the deciding factor, not inebriation by any way. The Voodoos falling, unfortunately, 4-1 to the Timmins Rock. Harry Clark with his 29th. And there's also a difference there. We were looking into it at the game. It was actually Lyndon that brought it to my attention. He said there's a 30-point difference between Harry Clark, who's the point leader, and the next highest point scorer for Timmins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's at like 81 points and the next guy's at like 51.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like for the Voodoos, they're fairly like close together, and even Sudbury, who's been an absolute monster in the league this year, they got at least a few guys at the top, but Timmins, I guess 30 points in between Clark and their top score. Like, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So Clark got them up on the board early on the power play. Zach Turner with his 13th ties things up about 4 minutes later. You can check out that goal actually on our social media because we have a really good rink ice side shot of that. And then we got Harry Clark with his 30th again on the power play, and then Brant Romanuk with his 13th on the power play as well. So special teams definitely failing Powassan in that one. And then Hayden Reinhard with the empty netter late in the third period. You weren't at that game, Harrison.
No, but I was listening to the excellent call from Matt and Brad. And as always, but another plug here, but go check out the calls on our YouTube. Yeah. We leave them up, and also check them out live. We always post about them, and if you have a Flow Hockey subscription, you get to hear our voices with the gameplay. So
exactly.
Yeah, but that sounded like a really close one up until about the third period.
Yeah, Cassie, you were standing next to me down in the corner for most of that game, and I remember when we were leaving, you basically said, "Well, that was really sad." So, what were your thoughts on that Timmins game?
It just wasn't good, like, at all. It was, I don't know how to explain it because it was like long ago, but
it was 6 days ago.
Yeah,
at the time
that's
of this recording.
long.
If I have the chance to throw you under the bus on this podcast, we're doing it.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a big rig coming through here or something.
Oh my gosh.
So
anyway, but why was it so bad? It sounded like it was a lot closer.
Well,
like the game.
Oh. I got 2 hours of sleep last night. Okay, my mind is not working, and I had
big
school
day.
on top of
Tuesday. That. Oh, you had half a day of school because you have your co-op in the morning or in the afternoon.
I still had to do culinary and something Indigenous studies. That's still a lot of work.
I wish I only had to go to work for half a day. I'm really envious of you. Like I am, legitimately envious. Because I have to go to work all day. Yep. But here's the thing. It's Tuesday. It's podcast day. You got to get sleep. It's more important than your games this weekend.
This is
Who do you think this podcast is? It is.
This is technically your school.
Yeah, technically.
It was my job, but became co-op again.
Fired.
Demoted.
You demoted on your own accord.
That's better than getting fired by someone else. So
That's true. So, anyways, what was really bad? What was really bad about this game?
Everything.
Everything.
She's a lot more pessimistic about hockey than I am, and I'm pessimistic about hockey.
Yeah, that's saying something. Like,
do you want to elaborate?
I'll try.
Okay, give her.
Oh my god.
This is grade A content.
This is really sad.
So Timmins, they wear maroon jerseys.
Yeah.
That's brutal. That is brutal. Okay, well, we'll break it down by like 3 aspects. How was the Voodoos offense in that game? What was bad about that?
They just didn't look like they were working like well. Like they didn't look motivated, I guess I could say.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can accept that, yeah.
Yeah, and
they missed a lot of open nets and hit a lot of posts.
Oh
yeah, I think there was a ridiculous amount of posts hit. Like
they would have won.
They would have
won that game 7-4 or 7-3 because there'd be no empty net. If they had just held Timmins to that many their goals, they would have won. I counted 7 posts. If they had converted on all those posts, 7-3.
That's insane.
Okay.
And then how was their defense?
Again, didn't look motivated.
Just the overall feel of the game was just they didn't.
Everybody just came in seeming like, I wouldn't say fed up, but they kind of just, this is a team that they're iffy with, I guess I'd say.
Not confident.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, Timmins at the top of the standings in the East right now, and as we've talked about a couple of times, there's a pretty extensive history against the Rocks, so you could say that. But
yeah, they definitely didn't go in confident, and they just lacked motivation and fell.
Yeah, just couldn't get anything past, and heck, it's hard to stay going when you're hitting 7 posts, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be pretty frustrated by that.
Yeah. So either way, they fall 4-1 in this one, but things do turn around in the next game.
Yeah, they do.
And it
Iroquois Falls.
Woo! That was a fun one
until the third period.
Yeah.
6-3. Voodoos win that one. Matt Sukerman and myself had the call. Caleb Dawson got the first goal of the game. Although initially it was credited to Will Rive, but upon review the next day, the league does give it to Caleb, who was sliding into the net on that play. So Reese Smetham with his 16th is 2-1 Powassan after the first period. Then Tucker Shields, yes, that's right, Tucker Shields, producer Ben, scoring his 11th of the season. Followed by Patrice Lafontaine getting Iroquois Falls on the board, and now all of a sudden it's a 3-1 game. About 6 minutes later, Zach Turner continuing his hot stretch of hockey here on the power play, his 14th of the season, followed by the hometown hero Chase Thompson's 18th. In the third period, the Voodoos come out flying, absolutely flying, and we thought, okay, they're not here, they're not content to just skate, to the final buzzer here, but. And then after Chase Thompson scores his goal, they kind of let the foot get off the gas pedal a little bit. The Michael Leach gets a 7th, followed by Lucas Peaver his 13th, and that's how all she wrote, 6-3. Got a little bit tighter towards the end. I don't think, 3 goals is still 3-goal difference, but felt tighter just because of that 3-goal difference than it should have, I think.
Yeah, after the second one, it was just like, okay, they let that one get away from them, and then the third creeps in, and there's still quite a bit of hockey left to play. And you're just like, oh boy, couple sequences here and there, and this one could get real uncomfortable. But Patrick Charette now 3 for 3 in his Voodoos career here, so that's awesome. He's looked fantastic. I love watching him play. He's dynamic. He's fast. He's a big guy, and so far he hasn't been beaten.
Harrison trying to take Chris's job as photographer of the Voodoos away.
No, I just saw that, and I like the shot. It's on their Instagram, just a shred during the anthem. I love the red pads. Yeah, I really, not the pads, the pants. I really like the red pants. I think it works out. Yeah. Got a couple of Voodoos players with red pants going on in some aspects.
Shields,
yeah. But no, it was a really good game.
Has blue pants.
That's true. Red and blue and white. Go Habs. No. Actually, tank Habs. Tank, please. It's that time of season. More injuries. Tank, please. We need Celebrini. Tank for Celebrini.
Yeah, but remember when it was tank for right and then you guys didn't get right?
Yeah, but did we really lose too much on that one? Because Slavkovsky's finally starting to put stuff in the net. He's not first overall, but I digress. Back to the Voodoos.
I will never, ever not laugh at his stare down to the Habs after. I wasn't staring them. Yeah, you were.
Yeah,
100%. But yeah, Voodoos coming away with a big 2 points. But that wasn't the strangest thing that happened all weekend long. That would be Friday night, in which the 3 of us were getting ready to go to Powassan, and then we get the phone call that, oh, no, game has been canceled. Why has the game been canceled, you ask? A down-powered line in the area, and it was the result of some heavy winds, is the story I've heard.
What a blustery day.
Yeah, down in Powtown. So, yeah, they had to cut power to the arena, and they wouldn't be able to get the power back till 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock is a little bit too late, so Hearst, who had to drive all the way down here, thankfully they played French River the next day, so it wasn't a waste of a trip, but there was just a little stopover here in the North Bay area before they could move on to French River, so shame there. That game will be played at a later date, especially because those 2 teams are so tight in the play standings right now, so that could very well determine home ice advantage in the first round. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a wild occurrence there. To actually cancel a game.
Yeah, I got a little bit delayed at work, and then I ended up walking over. And as I got to your parents' place, Kortney, you just come out and it's like, game's canceled. It's like, what? Yeah, game's canceled. And apparently you just got off the phone with camera guy Mike Brown. And
happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. You can't escape it. You're 1,003 now. Congratulations. New world record.
Doesn't look a day over 35.
Not at all. But yeah, that was a strange one. And I believe Charette was supposed to start that game. So you get a bit of an easier challenge against Iroquois Falls. I really would have liked to see him up against Hearst because he got a win against Sudbury, which is a really big deal.
Yep.
So seeing how he fares against all these much more challenging opponents would have been quite interesting to see, but I like it. He looked really good. Yep. He looked really good. Long and short of it.
Cassie, I know you love the Espanola jerseys.
Ugh.
Woo! I'm not asking about the Espanola jerseys though. It's the first time we see Iroquois Falls here in town. I mean, Harrison and I got to see them at the NOJHL showcase, so we had an idea of what their jerseys and scheme was coming in here. But this is the first time you're getting to see. What did you think of their black jerseys?
Oh my god, they weren't bad. Honestly,
Weren't
as bad as Espanola.
No. Espanola's jerseys are horrendous.
They're bad.
Yeah, like nothing can compare to them. So honestly,
I think Sinead O'Connor wrote that song preemptively about that.
honestly, they weren't bad, but weren't the best.
What did you not like about them?
I don't know. Just the color yellow just didn't. I don't know how to explain it.
So do you not like the tank jersey for the battalion? Because it's got black and yellow?
Black and yellow.
It's not my favorite, to be honest.
Harrison might jump you, but...
Yeah, I really like the black and gold combo, and that hurts me to say because the Boston Bruins, but you got to admit the kits look nice.
Yeah.
And I quite like Iroquois Falls.
Yeah, me too.
Like, well, at least their uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah.
In comparison, so.
You bring up the Bruins, though. I really like their jerseys down for their 100th anniversary where they kind of made it like the throwback jersey-ish.
Yeah, and the little shoulder patch there.
Yeah, I hate the Bruins, but...
Yeah. You gotta recognize that. They look really nice.
Gotta know when to fold them.
Yeah. But just before we get away from the Voodoos here, talking about Owen Say... Voodoos goalie Owen Say up for NCAA Mike Richter Top Goaltender Award. I'd like to credit whoever wrote this article, but it's just on the league site. So I'll just read this verbatim. Owen Say, who put together an amazing 2019-20 season with the Voodoos, has been named as one of the 32 finalists for the Mike Richter Award.
32?
Yep.
So everybody gets one, I guess.
Pretty much, but he's one of the finalists for NCAA D1 Top Goaltender. The 22-year-old London, Ontario product is a sophomore with the Mercyhurst University Lakers. And so far this season, he has a .326 goals against with a .912 save percentage.
Good for him.
So definitely in the running there. That is exactly what I said. Good for him. Good for Owen Say. So I just want to bring that up before we got away from it.
So producer Ben was like ready. He was like, the second you started talking about that, he was like, oh, I got, and he like made it like a look at me. I thought it was going to be Say It Ain't So by Weezer, to be honest with you.
He really was. He was plotting it the whole time.
When we have Owen Say on this podcast eventually, are you going to do that to him? Yeah. Okay.
That was a confident nod, but yep. Congratulations to him. A good showing overall from the Voodoos. I'm not stopping. Good showing from the Voodoos. We'll see how that matchup against Hearst goes eventually, but we're still waiting to hear on that. So
JJ, when he was on, he said, "Mark my words, Owen Say is going to be playing pro someday."
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
To be nominated to the Mike Richter Awards, even though now it's kind of weird. Now it kind of sounds weird because everyone gets one, but that's still like good for you, man.
Yeah,
and he was like, and the thing that I have to emphasize here is he was a walk on at camp.
Yeah,
like he came up here, no guaranteed spot, makes the Voodoos, goes and has the season he's had, and it's been nothing but an upward trajectory since here. But I mean, when you're backing up a guy like Devin Levi too at the World Junior A Challenge or Championship, so.
You're in good company.
Never heard of Devin Levi before in my life.
Who?
Yeah. He didn't go on to do anything special. Picked up by Brad in our fantasy league, but hasn't done anything this year though. So
no.
All right. And just like a big rig trucking across Canada, we might as well move on away from this and get to our wonderful segment that always leads to the stupidest comments, or content, I should say. But we'll talk about the Super Bowl first.
Chiefs win.
Boo.
Boo. Yeah. But it was a good game.
Yeah, but the thing that's funny is Cassie was there, right? And
Yeah.
you left early, Cassie, and at that point the game wasn't that good.
No.
And then you missed everything.
I know. I'm so upset about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay, but again, it was like a school night, so.
Oh.
Did you leave before Usher?
No, she was there for the halftime
Okay,
show.
so you saw that at least, and
Yeah,
you saw
she's-
Ludacris
My favorite thing about it was when they came out and did "Yeah" at the end.
for 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. When they did that, there we go. Actually, everything about Lil Jon and that was great.
So good.
But when he got into the outfit, someone made a joke about how he looks like the Global Gym from Dodgeball.
Exactly. Nailed it. The memes from the halftime show are always so good.
Yeah.
Like the weekend ones were really
when
good.
he's like walking through all the glass or all the mirrors.
Oh yeah. This the audio quality for this performance was terrible. So bad. Just the miking was not good, but all in all, the performance was kind of what you expected Usher to be.
Yep.
We were just like, he hasn't taken his clothes off yet. Proceeds to take his clothes off immediately after.
As soon as I said that, I was like, because I made a comment about, I always want to say Mariana's Trench, but it's not Mariana's Trench. If Mariana's Trench does the Super Bowl halftime show, damn, the NFL's looking for some people.
Oh yeah.
But no, it was. Yeah, Maroon 5 when what's his name there? I can't remember the name of the singer.
Lambert, is that him?
Yeah, Adam Lambert. No, not Adam Lambert.
No, it's not him.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, him. Tattoo guy that mom's like, I guess.
Do you know who we're talking about, Cassie?
No clue.
Do you know who Maroon 5 is?
Yes.
Apparently we don't, so
Yeah.
that's fair.
There's some okay Maroon 5 songs that are in my 3,000 song playlist.
Yeah, it's just stuff that I'm not offended by when I'm going grocery shopping.
Yeah. It's a good way of putting it. But yeah, anyways, I just made the comment being like, well, at least he's not like that guy who just started to take off all of his clothes. And then Usher immediately starts to take off his clothes. And I was just like, if only I put a bet on that before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I'm part of like some film Facebook groups and stuff like that and talk about miking and all that. And I just saw people being like, man, what a nightmare it must have been to run cable down like a shirtless dude there. And it looked like he had one of those spines out of the game Dead Space.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, hey.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. And the game ended in dramatic fashion. We got to see, was that the first showing of the new overtime rules?
That was in playoffs, yes.
In playoffs, okay.
Yeah. They're not new. They're like 3 years old now.
Oh, okay.
That's the first playoff game since then that has gone to overtime.
Yeah, but it was really exciting. Patrick Mahomes, tip of the cap. He's undeniable.
Yeah, guys, I'm really good at football.
Yep.
I can throw the ball pretty far.
And that he can.
Watch out for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. They're down there in the end zone somewhere. I'm going to find them.
Well, frig, if you're coaching, watch out for Travis Kelce.
I you know what, in my head, when he did that, when he yelled at Andy Reid, I was like, we are witnessing a meme happen right now on screen.
And we did.
Yeah.
Tony Stark built this in a cave.
That's so good. Cassie, but yeah, you left before all the fun stuff. It was like the worst game of football before that.
I know. It's so bad. I'm so upset.
Yeah.
I like how you're like, I had to leave because of a school night, but it's like you only go to school for half a day.
Yeah, but I have to go early. I have to wake up early in the morning for it. So
What time do you get up for school?
7:53, and then I have to leave at like 8:30.
That's not that early.
That's later than I get up. I get up and I work at 8, and I get up at like 7:30.
Okay, but I just came back from. You gotta think. Oh my gosh, Ben.
He didn't even do anything that time.
He rolled his eyes.
See, how do you know it was based on you?
Because after I started talking, he just rolled his eyes.
Ben is like the silent party that you can only hear through sound effects, so we don't know if he was reacting to you. He could have been reacting to something that he was doing.
Ben's like that scene in Interstellar with the bookshelf where he's just interacting, except for his specifically shock jock sound effects.
And it's just and it's funny because it's sand that he's moving up the shelf.
Can do it.
Yeah. There you go, Cassie. Anyways.
I came from like having co-op in the morning, so not needing to wake up till like 9, 10 and staying up as late as I'd want, to having to go to bed early and wake up for 7.
And you are in for a rude awakening when you get into the workforce.
I did not prepare myself though. I just full on like I didn't try and wake myself up early the weekend before. I just nope.
So here's my thing whenever I'm on holidays or anything. If I'm coming off holidays and going back to work, I just know that Monday, Tuesday that week are just going to be terrible because I can't regulate my sleep like that. So I just know that I'll be up till 3 or 4 in the morning and go to bed or going to work at 8.
Yeah.
Like so I can relate in that sense. However, what I cannot relate to is waking up at 7:53, which is a weird time. 7:53 in the morning and then being like, yeah, I got to go to school like only for half a day.
Yeah. When I was in high school, because I lived out in the...
I'm here for the jokes, though. This is fun. Continue.
When I lived...
it's the world's smallest violin. Look at that. We were playing the world's smallest violin for you.
Yeah. I had to wake up at 6 o'clock.
My favorite thing, though, is... Sorry, Harrison. I do want to finish your thought. But my favorite thing about this is that every time that Ben brings up a sound effect, because he has to, like, search for it first, it's, like, always, like, a few seconds after the... perfect moment to play it. That's the best part.
And half the time it's untested. We don't know what we're really getting.
That's true. We're playing a dangerous game. That's why we got Goofy Goober last week.
This is Pandora's soundbox.
We
opened it up, the sound effects came out, and they've just been wreaking havoc the past few weeks. My grandmother watched a lot of CSI.
She probably doesn't get that joke when she looked at you.
When I
nothing.
No, I didn't.
How many CSI shows have you ever watched?
Like 0.
There's like...
Hey, speaking of CSI stuff, it's not really CSI, but Law and Order Toronto. They're coming out with the Toronto one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's just Jane and Finn. Probably.
Toronto's rough.
Oh, man.
Anyways, when you're in school, you had to get up at...
Oh, yeah. We're so far removed from that. It was just like, it's been 10 seconds, but yeah, I woke up at 6.
I still want to talk about the Super Bowl.
I woke up at 6 because I lived in the middle of nowhere. It was like an hour commute to school. So, but that's my climbing up hills both ways.
But you had to go home because of school night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, my mom had work in the morning and she was my ride home. So and she works in Mattawa, right? So she gets up at like
okay, well, I didn't know that, to be fair.
5,
Your mom
4
is
in the
an
morning.
MVP.
Your mom's awesome.
Oh my gosh, no.
So
No.
the last time we were here, Kortney and I had just pulled up, and you had just gotten here as well. And your mom was just flattering you. I love you, sweetie. And just like all that sort of stuff. And you just had the most typical teenager reaction. Just, no, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. And then you went and stood inside. And then she said something. You came out and she just kept doing it.
Yeah,
it was wonderful.
Do you remember what the name was that she called her?
Oh,
because I can't.
I don't remember.
Oh, hey, Doot. It was Doot or something like that.
And I literally bought her supper before, and she just decided to make fun of me.
Did you buy her supper or did you use the gift card?
I bought her supper.
Oh, okay. By the way,
yes.
Shout out to the gentleman in Powassan that I didn't get your name, and I feel sorry for that. But this guy hooked us up with McDonald's gift cards. He just came up. He's like, hey, I know you guys like McDonald's, and we listened from Kingston and love this and all this stuff. Here's some McDonald's gift cards. How many of you are there? There's 5. And he just like whipped them out. And he's like dealing McDonald's gift cards.
Yeah, boy.
Heck yes. That was awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And he disappeared into the night, and we never saw him ever again. But anyway, so you bought her dinner, and then she comes and does this to you.
Yep. That's what I get.
In fairness, she was just complimenting you and saying how strong your relationship.
She was 100%
I know
because we were there.
Yeah, but she literally told me in the car, she's like, I'm going to embarrass you. And I'm like, please don't. I literally begged her so hard not to. And then I get out of the car.
You ran across the parking lot.
I was out. I wasn't dealing with that.
And then you still opened the door back up.
Because I thought she said something like actually like something
of substance.
Yeah.
That wasn't I love my daughter.
Yeah. And then I open it and she continues to embarrass me. So
that was awesome.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, I did tease
Super
something
Bowl.
at the Super Bowl party.
Uh-oh.
That I have my worst sports injury story. And I quote unquoted the word sports because it was a chest injury.
Harrison, you were just like a walking segment now.
I got a chest injury.
how do you get a chest injury?
Well, easy when you knock over the king in checkmate.
So,
because you said chest, not chest.
Unsurprisingly, looking at me, I was in chess club, and I was okay. I was okay, and
I never would have guessed.
We were just playing a round of chess, but as you can tell, if you've ever watched the video version of this podcast, I'm constantly moving in my chair.
Yep.
And I was doing the thing where you tip up on the first two like front legs of the chair, and they're just kind of leaning forward. So I
hurt your chest playing chess.
No, the chair kicked out from in front of me.
Oh yeah,
and flicked forward, and I smashed my face off the friggin' desk.
So when you said chest injury, you meant chest injury.
Yeah, I meant like
I thought I was being facetious.
No, like I got hurt playing chess. I like gashed the top of my nose, and I'm unathletic. It is not, I can get hurt doing anything.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
that's really good.
That's my worst sports injury.
Did you win the game?
I think I gave up by default.
All the pieces just went everywhere.
Yeah, it just knocked the board, smacked my face off the table.
Yeah,
and I no matter what, even if I won that game, I lost.
I remember in grade 6 at Tweedsmuir Public School, which is 176 Lakeshore. One of my classmates fell and like broke his tooth in half on the ground in the classroom.
Oh my gosh!
And I don't even know how he did it, but it was like one of his front teeth, and it was just like snapped in half. Oh man! So he had to go have emergency dental surgery.
That's always fun.
Yep. Cassie, what's the wildest injury you've ever seen at school?
Oh, at school.
Oh, she had this one locked and ready to go.
No, I was thinking about something else, but
Oh no.
the one that I had at school.
That you've had at school, okay.
What?
I mean, she was actually, to be fair, she was actually on her way.
That was uncalled for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you. That's
I'll
all your
take
fault.
inappropriate sound effects for 500, Alex. 500 is not a thing. I'm a fake fan.
Oh, I thought it was going to go into the higher. That's my favorite part of the song.
Okay. Anyways, this person like fell and like scraped his whole like all of his skin almost like came off his forearm.
Nice.
On the schoolyard because it was like it's Allianz, right? And it's like the whole thing is pretty much concrete, and there's a huge hill, and he just went right down it and scraped all of it.
Nice.
And it was so bad.
Nice. Winning.
Ugh.
If we're talking,
I am disgusted.
The worst injury I saw at school was my fault.
Oh my God, Harrison!
It was in high school, in grade 11 gym class. And we were playing soccer, and I just went to strip the ball from this guy, and we knocked knees, and I dislocated his knee, and it went right beside, and I felt really bad. The worst part of the story, though, is his sister comes up to me after, and she's this sweet girl named Catherine, and she's just like, "Hey, have you seen Mike?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I dislocated his knee. He's on his way to the hospital." Just assuming she knew, just like, hey, where'd he go? And it was just like, oh yeah, I did that. And then my friend Ashley just like yelled at me, rightfully so.
Congrats, Harrison. That day you shattered both people in that family.
Yeah, things did not go well. But yeah, that's probably the worst one at school for me.
I don't know if I've witnessed a bad injury, but I've seen like the aftermath where like a kid's going in and like all Oh no, I do have a good injury to talk about. This one happened at Silver Birches. I was in grade 8, I believe, and it was art class.
Okay.
So you know when you make your little structures there out of marshmallows and toothpicks?
Oh yeah.
Ben is at the other end trying to figure out.
This has got to be horrific.
Yeah, so I'm sitting next to this kid, and it was like a week after we had made our whatever it was, like our houses or whatever, out of marshmallows and toothpicks. And this kid next to me just decides that instead of just breaking it down piece by piece, he's going to start smacking it with his hand. So he starts smacking, and then I'm sitting next to him, and he just like stops, and I looked over, and it's just a toothpick sticking right out of the middle of his hand, and you could see it. It didn't go all the way through, but you could see the skin was pushed up.
Oh no. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm not making that
That
up.
is terrible.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I can definitely see.
Because like the marshmallows have been out for a week, right? So they're like rock hard and all this stuff now. And he's just like banging it with his hand. He sounded like some broadcasters in Noelville slamming some tables and stuff. But anyways, yeah, no. It but it was... that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, as soon as you said, and instead of just taking it apart, I was like, oh, I know exactly where this is going. Through his hand. That's terrible.
Yeah, it didn't break the skin on the other side though. I'll say that. But you could see it. Like it was like there was definitely like a little bump there.
Also, that's a strong toothpick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a strong toothpick.
I mean, this guy was like, like this thick too, like as big as my pinky. So there wasn't much there, I'm sure but it's still your hand.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. No, thank you. No, thank you.
We like talking about hands on this podcast.
Yeah.
I can tell you what the worst injury is that I suffered, though.
Oh, no.
It wasn't that bad of an injury, really, truthfully. Ben was there for this. He went and got autographs while I was being taken to the hospital. Prick.
Got autographs from somebody?
Yeah,
or
he was like,
took,
you were
or was
Kortney,
signing
man.
stuff.
Sign this stuff. So I've talked about this on the podcast before because Brandon Coe made me bring it up because his billet was our baseball coach, Larry Tugas. And did I tell you this story?
You did a while ago, but please do for the audience.
Anyways.
Never heard it.
All right. Sit on the edge of your seat here, Cassie. It is really sad.
This one is pretty tragic.
I'm brought back. It's like PTSD all over again. Those 2010 Blue Jays teams were bad, man. So we had the fortune of playing the West Ferris High School baseball team had the fortune of going to the Rogers Center to play a game at the Rogers Center where the Jays play. So we go down. This is also like my first time, and I think it's Ben's first time, like in the dome too. Like it's a big deal. Like we're super excited. We get to watch a Blue Jays game later that night. We play the game. Everything's really cool. That was absolutely one of the best days of my life. And then we're going to the game. We're getting ready to go, and we're sitting down the third base line. And I remember our vice principal, Mr. Ruddy, whose son is actually lighting it up right now as a goalie for the Trappers, Carson. But anyways, he's like, "Oh, why do you have your baseball glove with you, Kortney?" I'm like, "Well, we're sitting down in the third base line, foul ball territory. Let's go." It is warm-ups, batting practice. The Oakland A's are batting around, and we're right down at the field, like right down. There's nothing between us and the field except for, the little stanchion there that goes around the edge of the field. And I'm like trying to soak this all in. Like, this is a big deal. I'm super excited. I cannot emphasize more how excited I was just to be here to watch this game. And this is like the Jays sucked. Like they were not a good team. And I was still like, this is still my first time. I'm so excited. I remember sitting down at and just trying to take it all in. And then the Jumbotron comes on. It's This Week in Baseball. And I'm like, oh, I'm just kind of tired of looking around because I'm like, all my senses are just going haywire here. Like, I'm just going to sit down and focus on this for a moment.
Yeah.
Next thing, there's a heads up. And I just remember turning towards what would be home plate. And I just see it at the top of my vision. It's a baseball, and it's like one of those things where time stands still, and you're like, you had enough time to think that's going to hit me and that's going to hurt. And I just remember it hit me. It fell down in the front of me. It landed in my glove for whatever reason because I still have the ball. It's got dried blood all over it, and it's sitting in my glove. And the glove had some blood on it too, but it was a black glove, so you could at least hide it. I still have that glove actually in my baseball bag. But anyways, I know there's and I'm wearing a white Blue Jays jersey too. So it's just everywhere, all down the front of me. Like it's a good amount of blood. And I'm just like, where is this coming from? Immediately, because it hit me in the mouth, my initial reaction was, I've lost teeth and my parents are going to kill me. Like that's all I could think of was like the dental bill is going to be stupid. And I remember running my tongue along my teeth. There was nothing missing, so I'm like, where the heck is all this blood coming? Because it didn't hurt. Like it was just like my body was just immediately like, okay, we got you, we're taking over here. And meanwhile, the security guard on the field's like losing his mind. He's like trying to hand me Kleenexes. I'm putting them to my mouth. It's just like, immediately soaking through the Kleenex. Like it's coming out pretty good. Ken Pagan, infamous, we'll get to him in a moment. He's standing next to me. He was a reporter with the Nugget at the time. Great guy, and I will defend that to my death because of what I'm about to say in a moment. He's like getting ready to take his shirt off to give it to me to like soak up the blood. Like they're concerned. Like we got to stop this. Like there's a lot coming out of this kid. Finally, they decide, okay, well, we're going to take him up to the first aid tent. They take me up there. They clean me up. They stop the bleeding. And then they say, well, we got to stitch him up.
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen what's going on. And they're like, but we got to send him to the hospital because his mouth is like ripped right through. So we got to do the inside of the mouth, and we can't do that here. And I'm just like, well, okay, what is going on here? Like, how big of a deal is it here? And then finally they let me go and look in the mirror. It's just a little cut here. You can barely see it through my mustache now. But the thing that's funny about it is my stepdad, who has a much better story than me, we have a scar in the exact same spot. His goes further up. His was caused by an axe. Mine's a baseball. But anyways, that's besides the point. His story's a lot cooler than mine. We then get, because at the Rogers Center, it's either you're in or you're out. You don't get in or out privileges. They give us like a pass to come back. It's Coach Tugas, Dale Vlad, and which is the guy who said heads up to me. And he was like, he comes with us, and we get into a car. They were going to get an ambulance initially, but then they were like, no, it's like rush hour in Toronto. There's a Jays game. Get in a cab. They'll get you to St. Mike's a lot quicker than the
I like that a cab has more authority in Toronto than an ambulance does.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, like there was some swerving and stuff, and I was in the backseat like in shock, just being like, I don't know what's going on right now. So they take me to the hospital. I finally have like my kind of faculties about me. Meanwhile, Ben's getting autographs from Lyle Overbay and Travis Snyder on his baseball, and I'm at the hospital, and he's breaking stuff down there too. But anyways, it's funny because Dale would come down. They put me in the room. Dale would come down the hallway and tell me, "Oh, Travis Snyder just homered," and I was like, "Damn it!" Or, "Oh, John Buck just homered." And I was like, "Damn it! I'm missing all this game. This is my first Jays game." And I remember having my faculties about me to the point that I called my mom and I'll be like, "You'll never guess where I am." She's like, "You're at the Jays game." I'm like, "No, I'm in our operating room right now at St. Mike's." She's like, "What?" Anyways, to cut this real short, they put in 3 stitches. They didn't do anything in the inside of my mouth. So the inside of my mouth to this day is still a mess. But that was the whole point of going to the hospital was the inside of my mouth. And they didn't do it. We get back to the game as the 3rd inning. We finish out the game. John Buck hit 3 home runs in that game, which was absolutely wild. This is also Jose Batista's like coming out party year, but he was like batting like 7th or 8th in the lineup at that time. Anyways, just weird things that my brain remembers. We get in the cars because we're all like in different vehicles. We drive back north. We get a speeding ticket going. Ken, sorry, I have to out you. He gets a speeding ticket as he's the driver. And then we run out of gas coming into North Bay at like 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
So then our coach had to come get us with some gas, fill it up. We had to push it. I finally get home. It looks like I have dried chocolate milk all down my jersey because of the blood. No. And to be fair, Ken tried to get them to replace my jersey and they were like, no. Like too bad.
Come on.
Like too bad. Anyways, the reason why I out Ken Pagan is because in 2016 in the American League wildcard game, he threw a can of beer at a Baltimore Orioles player and was arrested for it.
Oh my gosh.
And now he's not allowed into any games.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Ken Pagan is a fantastic guy because anytime I ever saw him after that, he wrote an article about Ben and I actually at that time. He wrote about when he was leaving North Bay, he wrote about remembering that whole, I mean, how do you forget that? That's such a weird thing to happen.
Yeah.
But I will go to my grave defending that Ken Pagan's a great guy. He just made a really stupid drunk mistake.
Yep.
And that's the worst injury that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
So long story short, TLDR, get hit in the face with a baseball, blood everywhere, get 3 stitches, back by the 3rd inning.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. The most shocking part about that, that's probably like an hour and a half to and from the hospital, right?
Probably.
That's pretty quick service.
I think what the problem was, obviously they knew that I wasn't like an emergency, but I think the thing about it was like the coach was with us and he's like, look, I think he explained it to the hospital, like when I was being admitted, being like, look, we got to get, like, I'm supposed to be at this game with these kids. Like, I'm looking after these. I mean, there's other people too, obviously, Ken Pagan and all them stuff. But he's like, we got to get back because we're leaving from the field, like right after the game, like we're going. So I think it was probably like, okay, boom, boom, here you go.
Yeah. And it's a couple of stitches on a kid who's probably freaking out. So like,
I was, you know what, honestly, all things considered, I was okay.
Oh, yeah?
The worst pain that I felt out of the whole entire experience, my aunt's now a retired nurse, but at the time she wasn't retired. She came over and removed the stitches, which isn't that big a deal. Just snip and you pull them out. Mm-hmm. That was the worst pain about the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was because it burned a little bit, but there wasn't any. Oh, and when they put the freezing needle in my face, but other than that, it wasn't that big a deal. It was just like I got hit. There was blood everywhere. I didn't really feel any pain. It was just that at the end. The thing that sucked though was I was all excited for like my first like ballpark like food and everything. I could only have liquids for like a week because my mouth is literally not like. There was a point when it was still frozen and it was stitched. I probably, if you were a little squeamish, turn away.
Oh yeah, at this point.
I could I could stick my tongue right through to the stitches.
Oh. Okay. That was worth the warning. That was worth the warning.
Anyway, so there was no keeping solids in kind of thing. Like it had to be a liquid diet for a week. And that was the worst part about it. But then at the same time, then you get like smoothies and milkshakes all the time. And you're like, this is awesome. Let's go.
Yep.
And also I am an old man, so I really like my Ensure liquid diets. So anyways, that's the worst thing to ever happen to me, guys.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Nothing that bad?
What?
You haven't had anything that bad?
Disgusting.
Oh, come on. You had to sit next to me in the back of the van the whole way back. And then we had to get out and push the van, Ben.
Oh, my gosh.
Ben's very hard done by down there, though, to be fair. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Nothing,
ridiculous.
Nothing like that? You haven't taken any baseballs to the face that have required stitches?
Nope. And I'm proud of that.
Look at you.
I
mean,
are we just doing the injury thing now?
Well, we'll do one more and then we'll turn things around.
All right.
We'll wrap things up.
So around COVID.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I was alone at this point. My roommates at the time had all gone back to their parents or anything like that. And
you had the house to yourself. That's awesome.
I had the house to myself. It was great. And much like everybody during COVID, I decided to try and pick up a hobby, albeit briefly. And my hobby was going to be sewing. I had a sewing kit.
I know the story.
Yeah,
you've told me the story.
I had a sewing kit, and I was like,
you're
okay,
gonna hate this, Cassie.
This is gonna be good. And that lasted all of 3 days.
It's always 3 days because on the third day.
Okay.
I was trying to tee you up here. It didn't work out.
No, sorry. But
Barney Stinson says that, man. It's the whole thing with like Easter.
Oh,
you gotta wait 3 days.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, back to my story. Sorry. I guess at some point during that brief stint as a seamstress, I drop a needle. I forget about that until a couple of months later. It's around October. I, at this point, was processing footage for a bunch of the Hallmark films that come to town. That was my job at the time. I worked exclusively night shifts. And I sit down. It's around 2:30 in the morning, and I feel a sharp pain in my foot. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And I grab it. There's something stuck in my sock. It's just an eye of a needle. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's just the eye of the needle there. I guess there was a broken needle, and that part just happened to poke me in the foot, and that hurt a bit. I go to sleep. I wake up the next day, and I'm like, wow, my foot still really hurts. I guess it's just like the blunt trauma of it or something like that. But there's like no mark on my foot, no nothing. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I just really hurt my foot. I go about my day. I go into work. Luckily, I had a car at the time, so I was just driving, and it wasn't like too bad or anything. And it was like, all right, if my foot still hurts by the next day, I'll go into the hospital. I wake up the next day. I'm in a lot of pain. So I go to the hospital. Long story short, turns out that the needle had broken off in my foot alongside my pinky toe and had gone through my muscle tissue and was right alongside the bone. And they were just like, yeah, so you need to go into surgery. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I called my dad, who's in the States. Well, the first call was to my boss at the time. I was like, hey, I got a needle in my foot. I can't come into work tonight. And he's like, okay, I'll tell the producers. We'll deal with it. And it's like, cool. And then the next one is to my dad, who's in America at the time, who was briefly working for a solar energy company. And he's just like, hey, what's up? Hey, Dad, I'm going into surgery. I'm fine. He's like, oh, whoa, okay, back it up. And then he like asked for a laundry list of like, all right, tell me who's picking you up. Tell me who's doing this. Tell me everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. It's surgery on my foot. And get the needle taken out of my foot same day. Apparently, it was like the entire length of my pinky toe. And I had my foot wrapped up for about, I don't know, I'd say about a month. And I couldn't walk right, and I had to adjust my gait like for another month after that because I had stitches along the bottom of my foot. And as you said, getting the stitches out, that was the worst pain out of that entire experience. But yeah, that's probably the worst thing I've had happen to me. Anyway, thanks for listening to that.
Well, this episode is going to need a disclaimer for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there was the one time that my appendix tried to kill me, but I'm not going to get into that one on the podcast. So, you haven't lived life, Cassie, till your appendix tries to kill you. Let me tell you, especially during the pandemic.
You thought waking up early was bad?
Oh, damn. So anyways, Cassie, how do you feel now?
Disgusted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you going to get up early for school?
Yeah.
You going to get your grade A's?
I don't know about grade A's, but
we haven't scared her enough, Harrison. So anyways, my appendix. No. And I'm not talking about the appendices in Lord of the Rings, but here we are anyways.
Jeez.
Okay. Watching those, depending on how much of a Lord of the Rings fan, could be trying to kill you.
Yeah, that could be painful.
He's tapping his hand down there. I know he's unimpressed. He's like, why are we talking about Lord of the Rings now? Why are you ripping into my livelihood? Anyways, Lord of the Rings is pretty good. You should watch those. It's like having surgery if you don't like Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings, though, so.
Meh. Uh-oh.
All right, anyways, huge thanks to...
It's because I can't handle, like, they're long, and I can't sit for that long.
You watch hockey games.
Yeah, but that's something I actually enjoy. Like, you know, like, I take the information from watching hockey games and, like...
Can you?
It's your Lord.
It's going to be a defense off with Kortney here soon instead of with Ben.
I'll win both.
I don't know about that.
I know about that. I would.
No, you like had a meltdown when you hit Matt's kid in the chest. I like bringing that up.
Yeah, but that was a child.
That was an accident. And yes, that was a child. It's different. Plus, there wasn't any protective equipment on.
That's true.
So
like this is going to be a full gear.
No, I don't have full gear.
Better get full gear.
No, we're not doing this. Oh my God. We're not doing this unless I can slash you real hard in like the shin or something.
Okay.
With your shin pads on.
I've been slashed so many times. Go for it.
Yeah.
I'll survive.
Will you?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're the one that leads the team in penalty minutes.
Most experience.
How many levels of Lakers hockey is there? So like you're the U18 team.
U18, it goes up to senior before you have to go into like college or
So what
university
level are you?
technically.
Are you senior?
No, I'm U18.
Okay, but like there's more than one U18 team.
Oh, no. We're not senior.
That's what I was trying. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Okay, so there's like the 3 levels there, and then there's probably what U16, and then
Yeah. So we're house league right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
But you're going to Barrie, so go
Probably
shopping for some shoes
And more penalty minutes.
Just no
It's a tournament.
suspensions.
I'll try not to this time.
Yeah, it would probably be good.
Yeah.
Especially during a tournament.
No.
Yeah, and playoffs are coming up, so
Yeah. Haven't you had to roll 3D before?
Yep.
Yeah, don't get suspended.
Yeah.
I'll try not to for the sake of my team.
No more existential crisis either.
No.
Can't promise that.
All right. Well, anyways, we are going to move on now. We don't have any fun things to talk about this week, like movies or shows or anything like that.
Well, we spent a good half hour on injuries.
Yeah,
so.
Harrison, favorite Lord of the Rings movie right
Favorite
now?
Lord of the Normie answer, Two Towers.
Look on Ben's face right now. All right. Quickly. Before. Are you okay?
What's wrong with you?
I really hope that all of this was caught on camera.
I accidentally hit the chair level with the back of my heel.
I thought you broke the chair.
No, I didn't break the chair. I can't sit still.
I thought you broke the chair, and I was like, oh no, he's dead.
No.
All right. Including The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
That's 6 movies. We're going to rank them.
Oh, okay.
Real quick.
We're doing this
real quick. Real quick.
Okay, that's fair.
Number 6.
It would probably be the first Hobbit movie.
Unexpected Journey.
Yeah.
Number 5.
It would be the third Hobbit movie.
Battle of Five Armies.
Yep.
Number 4.
Desolation of Smaug.
Okay, so The Hobbit's taken care of. And number 3.
This is where things get tricky. I guess I have to go Fellowship.
Number 2.
Two
Return of the
Towers.
King. You said Two Towers.
Yeah, Return of the King and then Two Towers. Yep.
All right. Tune in next week and I'll give you my ranking of the 6.
Oh, we're teeing that up?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I'm about to get ripped into next week. Oh, no. I feel like I'm about to get ripped into after this podcast ends. I feel eyes from this direction, which is where producer Ben sits, and I'm scared.
All right.
Tune in to see if I'm alive next week on the front line.
I'll tee it up like this. I agree with your bottom 3.
Okay.
Top 3 has a lot of work.
A lot of work?
Well, maybe not a lot of work. Okay. I would go Two Towers. Okay, we're just going to do it now. Two Towers, Fellowship, Return of the King.
Okay.
So.
That's fair.
Anyways, I would be curious as to how producer Ben does it, but we'll have to figure that out later. Anyways, a huge thank you to Cameron Lemcke and Josh Hardiman for joining us on this very long-winded episode of the Frontline podcast. And a huge thanks to Harrison from the Garrison and Cassie Millen, who is sufficiently grossed out and having a great time here on the Frontline.
So good of a time.
Yeah, great time, eh?
I love it here.
Aren't you glad that you came back for another semester of co-op?
Totally.
So we could let you leave school halfway through the day?
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know why. I meant to bring this up at some point.
Oh.
But I wore this awful t-shirt that says Rex White and Blue.
That's awesome.
I think it was due to football, but
That's
I don't
awesome.
know.
Oh, yeah. By the way, the first half of that game sucked. Fourth quarter and overtime. Amazing.
America.
Yeah. Woo! That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And halftime show was okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, that'll do it for this one. Again, check us out on all your streaming services. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on social media where we always have a silly clip or two from this week's episode usually. We don't have much after action report coming up for you right now this week, although we will have Friday and then we'll have Sunday, of course. But that's about it. We don't have much hockey going on. After Hell Week, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah. We get a little bit of a reprieve. But yeah, as always, check out the after action report. Check out our socials.
Should be a good time. And anyways, as always, keep your eye on the front line.
The Frontline, hosted by Kortney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.